It's time for the Ghostfire Media Network podcast show, featuring the stars of iRacing's IVRL and the AOLL. Now, here's your host, the Ghostfire Media Network crew.
Oh, that would be good.
Alrighty, welcome to the Ghostfire Media Podcast. Oh man, how's everybody doing tonight? I am your host, Adam Wood, and it's always this way for me, I believe. That's Carl.
No.
That's Josh.
It's the other way.
I'm always the top left here, and I always go right. Carl's always to my right on the screen, so that's what I'm gonna go with. Your stuff's backwards.
Yeah, I'm to your right, but you were pointing.
Maybe you're seeing reverse, but I am.
Oh yeah, it's
that
mirrored.
Way. Yeah. So.
I mean, if it works, it works.
But yeah, so that's Carl, that's Josh, man. We're coming down to one of our last podcasts for the year here. All the leagues are concluding. It's going to be vacation time, the holidays, and we're going to go ahead and kick it off tonight. Episode number 30, the Week of the Champions. So before we get into pulling in our stuff, we're going to start talking. Let's start talking about it. Carl, how was your week, man?
Man, I had a freaking solid week. It was I got my beard trimmed yesterday, and it's looking all nice. They every year in Columbia here they do something called Vista Lights to kick off the Christmas season, where they do not light up the light in front of or light up the tree in front of the State House here. That would be too easy because it's an actual Christmas tree. No, instead they light up. There's a big ceremony to light up this random tree in downtown. It's not a Christmas tree. It's literally just a tree, and they put lights on it. They light it up, and people are always confused every year. But that was good times last night. They had a few drinks and all that.
And they're also really confused because that always happens, the day after Thanksgiving or something like that. Now, why are we lighting up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving?
So the State House tree gets lit up after Thanksgiving, but I think the idea behind it is this is just sort of the non-Christmas lights, if that makes sense. I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. Look, listen, my wife was telling me last night, like on the way there, she's like, "Can we listen to Christmas music in the car?" And I'm like, "No. Give Thanksgiving its time. We cannot rob Thanksgiving."
Yes.
And day after, I'm good.
I can't say anything. The Christmas tree is already up in my house. My wife, I literally came home, I think it was last Friday, and it was just up.
I'm just getting the Little Debbie's Christmas tree. I'm going to put it in the corner back here. So next podcast we have, if we do have one later, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to have it back there taped to the wall. I'm in my Christmas tree for everybody.
So there was when I worked at an ad agency years back, we used to do this festival of trees thing that was like, everyone would like submit trees to be judged on, that sort of thing. And one year we did a Christmas tweet, and what it was, we built out a plywood Christmas tree, like basically a pyramid, wrapped it in garland, put a monitor on it, and then had it display tweets live when you did a certain hashtag. And someone actually bought it, which is shocking because it was literally a plywood pyramid.
I mean, it was the technology inside that they were mostly interested in.
So that's really it for me. It's been very relaxing this week with much less racing going on.
Yes.
I will say that is a blessing and a curse. Last night felt a little hollow not having TNT for the first time since the middle of January. But I filled it with Dirt 5, so...
I filled it with binge watching on Netflix, so yeah, that was fun. So, Josh, how was your week outside of not having as much racing to do?
I slept. I slept a lot. That's the biggest thing that I have missed, because by the time you're done racing, broadcasting,
you're amped up.
it's late, you're just got done either running a race so the adrenaline's going or excited to watch the finish. So, and some of us, Adam, aren't in central time to where it's not done by 10, it's closer to 11.
Oh yeah, I feel the pain. I'm only here for 3 months, man. I'll be back on the East Coast, so this will be great.
Yeah, it's amazing the video games that I need to get caught up on that aren't iRacing. Just
Yeah.
about to restart Diablo 2 again.
Oh, we'll have to try to see if we can play that together at some point.
If there's crossplay, because I
Well-
actually got it as part of a bundle. I actually bought a Xbox Series X for someone, and it was part of it, and he was just like, "No, you can go ahead and keep that." Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it on Xbox.
I was hoping it would be crossplay to where I could just put it on
Mm-mm.
my computer like everything else that Microsoft's doing these days, but no, that's too easy.
Yeah.
So, Adam, how about you, man?
Well, this week's been a good week for me. We started out, we crowned a champion in Fuel Racing League. We'll bring him on a little bit. It was great to kind of finish that league off. And then Wednesday night, I had a hell of a time running there. Just had a shitty finish, but great run. Work's been great so far. Kind of shading them as much as possible. Not really doing that, so it's awesome. And then today I was able to get the official word and have my official orders for retirement. So I am a very happy man because it's now officially official that I am going to be retired, and the Army has blessed off on it. So I can't wait. Starting planning everything. Can't wait to be home with the family in 3 months, or just a little over 3 months now. Get to move back to the East Coast and be with them and take off the uniform for once.
It's
You
awesome,
act like
man.
it's your underwear.
It's something you wear 24/7, man. It's a little shield that you can really take off and not have to worry about that weight. And then my daughter, what's up, broski? She's out there in YouTube land saying hey to me. But
And we've also got Justin Anderson, Tim St. Jean, and John Gordon out there wanting to hear our takes, hear from all the winners, and
how's everybody
maybe-
else's week's gone? We always talk about us.
That's a good point.
You guys tell us how your guys' week. Adam can grow a fantastic Carl beard in 3 months. Yes, and then my wife will shave it off in the middle of the night. She's already threatened me. She said I can have a small stubble, 5 o'clock shadow-ish, maybe like a 3-day shadow-ish. But whenever I start looking like Josh or Carl, yeah, she's already threatened to kill me. So I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do my best to try to grow it out there, and then I'm gonna have to shave it off when I come back here in June to say my final goodbyes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you just have to. I mean, I didn't really ask. I just started growing it, so just let it happen, man.
Well, being with her for 18 years now, and this is about all she's seen. She's
Yeah.
used to this, so she doesn't understand the beard
sleep
life.
on the couch for a week or two. Let her get
I got-
used to
I
it.
got 2 other bedrooms I go sleep in or something. So
I'm just saying it might add some excitement to the marriage. So I'm saying.
Are you saying that's needed?
I'm not saying it is or isn't, but I mean, after that long, I mean.
Even the daughter is saying keep it short.
but she also hates it when I shave my beard off. She's like, "Who are you?" So when I go on leave or something during the COVID time, I was able to kind of grow a little bit of a stubble, and then I'd shave it off, and she's like, "You're weird. Stop that." Oh man. So we got Justin out there saying he didn't win a championship, so he's pretty shitty. Thanks for asking.
Notice no reference to the broken finger.
Yeah.
I'm actually. I don't even think his finger was actually broken. I think he was just faking it.
Oh,
as an
I can show you
excuse.
the photo. That is.
Oh, I mean, oh, yeah.
I can find
gruesome.
photos online too and say it's,
Yeah,
my fingers.
You can do all sorts of things with Photoshop, and I'm just saying.
Let's
You
see.
need an excuse. Getting
Wait,
beat
wait.
by Blake in 2 leagues.
We have Ed Springer, who unfortunately I really feel for you there with the 10 days of quarantine for COVID. Yeah, no, no.
Well, hopefully it's just precautionary and not actually for COVID. Just precautionary tale, and you just get 10 days of kind of vacation.
Yeah, those are kind of nice, but if it actually is COVID, those 10
Yeah.
days suck.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've let our champion wait too long here. Let's go ahead and bring him in. All righty, Mr. Alan Elwood, the Fuel Racing League's 2021 B champion, man. Welcome to the party. How's it going?
Going great, guys. How are you guys doing?
I mean, having a great time. I like the fact that there's a trophy there now.
I had to make it look like I won a trophy. This is really just a
This
dirt
is from
running trophy
2015.
from yeah, I was gonna say this is kind of ancient, but
You just had to lift it up. Now
had
we
to
know
have
it's
some
from
sort of
15.
representation. Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
you haven't gotten your hand-drawn car yet?
No, that's coming though. That's coming though.
Yeah, he posted
I'm
in
really
the
excited to see that.
he posted on the YouTube on our championship race on Monday night. Said he can't wait to see who wins the race, who he gets to draw. So pick one of your favorite schemes, man.
Yeah,
One of.
he had asked a couple weeks ago for some of us to well, everybody that was involved in the finals to send a picture of their car, or a couple pictures. So I had sent him a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I'm stoked to see how this thing turns out. I've already seen his work. When we first were talking to him about coming on as a sponsor for the league to do this, and I told him, I said, this is probably, if not arguably, like the most cool thing I've won for a league championship to see how this portrait turns out with the car. So
I really like the time lapse. It's not just a portrait itself, but him creating it. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, he's super talented. Money's always great, of course. Trophies are cool, but something unique that you're going to be one of only a few that get this opportunity to have something like that is pretty awesome.
And this man's already got his small Christmas tree up in the background too. So he's
I was going to comment on that. We were talking about starting Christmas early.
I mean, somebody here on the podcast had to.
Mine's just upstairs. That's all it is. It's fully up. The only thing we need to do is I have to make ornament hangers for a set that my wife physically made last year. She knitted little tiny sweaters that were Star Wars villains. They're
nice,
freaking amazing. But yeah, I have to actually physically make the hangers for them, and I've just been lazy.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, man. Well, so we've had you on recently. You a couple weeks back there, we had you on, and you were pegged as one of the favorite guys going into the finals here, and you were able to do it, man. Talk us through this season, man. What was your thought process throughout everything, from start to finish? Like, I know you ran consistently up front, had pace all season, but what was your thoughts at the beginning, middle, near the end? Did you think you actually could win it, or it was still kind of like out of reach?
At the beginning of the season, I think from the beginning to midway point, I wasn't really sure kind of where I stood, like within, say, like the top 5. I was struggling to find victory lane because I think I talked about it last time I was on. I'd won quite a few races the prior season. So at the same time, when we were overlooking the driver roster and stuff like that to start this season, we knew that it was going to be a lot tougher. People in itself, the roster that we had, the people that came back had gotten better. Had seen that progression through last season, and I knew that it was going to be tough going into this season with those guys alone, and then you bring on some fresh blood. You're not really sure exactly maybe what you're going to get there, but some guys you have an idea of how quick they are. And so going halfway through the season, I think I'd maybe gotten one win up to that point. I think it was Kansas. And so I just really wasn't sure at that point, how my luck was going to fall, because some of that is luck, like you do have skill involved as well, but some of that's luck, whether it be cautions flying your way or, pit strategy, doing the right thing there. But then I found myself getting more momentum as the season went on, and especially the big tracks. I don't know why. Like I'm usually pretty good everywhere, but it's just like the big tracks is where my luck was falling, and I was getting the wins. So knowing that we were going into essentially, I guess you could say like 3.5 mile tracks. I know Nashville's not quite that big, but and then you also have Auto Club, which is a little bigger, but you have bigger tracks that you're going to in the finals. I was like, if I'm doing good on tracks like Michigan, Kansas, places like that, then I know if I could just get past Road Atlanta, then I was going to have a really good shot at it. So I kind of felt like toward the end of the year, I kind of hit my stride, and I really wanted redemption for the season prior because I felt like I had the championship wrapped up last year, and I had to miss a race, and that just kind of put a there was just no way I was going to be able to come back from the points that I had lost from that race. It was the second to last race of the year. So we went into Chicago. I was like 20 points behind. There was just no way. But this year I knew that I had to put my best foot forward with the guys that we had competition wise, and it worked out. It was awesome.
So yeah, I mean, you mentioned there, and I think that's a really good point about how it feels like once the playoffs started, you kind of came alive. I mean, you weren't bad all season by any means, but I feel like you really kind of turned it up to another level. Did that come down? I mean, was it more practice time? Was it just favorable track selection? What was it?
I'll be quite honest. I don't really do a lot of practice. Me and a lot of guys on the team, like usually what we'll do is we'll just we'll show up, we'll do the hour of practice that we're given, and basically figure everything out at that point. I've never been a really big person in a practice, like especially now with dynamic tracks and stuff like that. We have a little bit of variance. It's not huge, but our admin will, when he sets up the server, he does set up a little bit of variance for the weather, as you guys know, and so you can practice one day and it just be kind of a little bit different than maybe what you're going to get into in a race. And you might, if you do practice, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you might develop some habits that maybe you don't need to have that night. So I like to come in fresh and just figure the track out, the weather, everything at that point. But yeah, like I think those tracks, I knew Auto Club, again, as I had mentioned the last time, like I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. I wasn't expecting to go in there and win the race. I thought maybe top 5 was probably a really good effort. But that night, just everything clicked and had a really strong showing. And then I knew Atlanta, I've always been really good at. But Nashville was the place where everybody was new. Everybody went into that race. Some guys hadn't even bought the track yet, I don't think. So we're going into that race. Some people hadn't even turned a lap. I had turned some, but just those bigger tracks, I tend to have more confidence with. And like short tracks are kind of hit or miss for me, like Martinsville, Bristol, stuff like that. It's just kind of I've never really been too fond of those, especially in iRacing. But yeah, just like coming down to those bigger tracks, like I said, once I got past Road Atlanta, you get past that road course kind of iffy thing, that I knew I had a really good chance going to those last few tracks.
I mean, I would even argue that Road Atlanta wasn't a horrid showing. I would say it was respectable, but obviously not nearly the kind of talent for you that we got to see once we hit the ovals.
Yeah. There was just some stuff that I couldn't quite figure out. When you guys were doing the race, like Justin Morton, Thomas Bressy, those guys had that track figured out there by race time. And I think maybe, a couple different corners I had gearing selection that was wrong. I was going through maybe in second when I should have been in third or something like that. And a lot of that track is just momentum based. A couple hard braking zones, but yeah, like road courses aren't necessarily bad for me. Like Sebring, Red Bull Ring, all those turned out pretty well for me this year. And you have to definitely have good finishes there, of course, if you're going to be in contention. Because if you end up dipping a wheel and you end up in the tire barriers and you finish dead last or something, I mean, that's just as bad as anywhere else. Like you have to have good finishes everywhere. And I was really happy with, I think for the majority, except for like North Wilkesboro and USA, which we've talked before, were disasters anyway, in multitude of reasons. But just getting past those and getting toward the finals was a big goal in the beginning.
I'll be honest, those kind of disastrous races, for me, those are some of my favorite ones because it's, and yeah, of course, we've got Blake Gordon out there saying that he liked USA. That's not surprising in any way, shape, or form because that was the
Wonder who won that race.
the most asinine setup that I think I've ever run, and I just did it temporarily.
Yeah, because I think that was the one that you and I both broadcasted, and because we had I ran practice for that, and I was fully prepared to run it. I actually liked it too. I don't know if it was just me, but I enjoyed the way it felt in the car, and a lot better than Martinsville because I struggled at Martinsville.
Yeah, I like the weird setups to where it takes 100% focus at all times, and there can be no lapse because when I have those lapses, so are a bunch of other people.
Agreed. Yeah, no, like that track in itself races well. It's big enough for those cars, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not like it's super scrunched. Like there's room to race. It just depends on the setup, and I just don't think the setup was quite there to make it the best of races. But that track, I don't think should be written off as like, oh, they can never go back there again. Like I think it could be given another shot if setup was a little tweaked and made a couple adjustments. I think it could be a really good show, to be honest.
I mean, I like it better than Martinsville because the little bit of banking there that it has compared to Martinsville, you're able to, not have the huge of braking zone there, but you still have a monumental braking zone there, and you're able to kind of rotate the center of the corner way better than Martinsville, and you get a better drive off, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but
you
you're gonna have the
have
right
one
setup to do
lap.
that.
You end up on the high line, you have one lap before you've lost it rather than a half a turn.
That's right.
Yeah, like that's it. That's part of the reason why I like
Why
USA.
is your
and
friendship terminated with me? What did I do?
because you don't like Martinsville.
Oh, well, I mean, whenever he gaps me by like 8 seconds, yeah, I don't like Martinsville. I still finished second in 2 of the races I raced there, but you still gap me by like 8 seconds.
And apparently we're supposed to ask from Cameron Hearn if you still love him.
I do tremendously.
You're going to send him that trophy from 2015?
If he wants it, sure. Just send me your address, Cameron. I'll ship it out tonight.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Cameron doesn't live too far from me. I think he lives somewhere in South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm right in the center, so it can't be too far.
Well, if everybody's nice enough to him, I know that he's in the process of finishing a new house. So if everybody's nice to him, maybe we could just have an end of season party at his place.
Oh, I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
he's in Columbia.
So there you go.
Wait, hold on. Cameron's in Columbia?
That's what he said on YouTube.
Oh, shit. Well, hot damn, I'm in Columbia too.
I know he's a big Gamecocks fan, so
I'm a big Gamecock fan as well.
Yeah, Carl always tells us about how he loves the Cocks. So
love the Cocks.
If you ever notice the colors of his car,
dude, yeah, you drive through Columbia, South Carolina. There's Cocks everywhere on everybody's cars. It's crazy.
No, it's not just cars. I mean, it's. Yeah,
well, I only see the cars when I drive through Columbia.
Yeah, we'll keep it PG, but.
Oh man. So you were talking about, the talent level in there and new surprisers and stuff like that. So, we'll go with both the driver and the admin hat. You being the admin there, looking at the full field, like who was the surpriser of the season? Both, people that used to race there and newcomers.
I'll say of people that raced there previously, I thought that Thomas Bressie made huge strides on the ovals. Like I knew his strength on road courses, but I thought that he made good strides on the ovals to kind of complete his skill package. You felt like not just at road courses, but like every single track that you went to, he was probably going to be one of the top 2-3 to beat. So I thought as far as guys coming back, he was probably the one that sticks out in my mind. And then of people coming in, I would have to say probably Blake, just for the simple fact of never raced with him before, never knew of him. But with you guys, coming on board, and then us kind of intertwining with the different leagues that you guys broadcast for, it was nice to have some guys come into the league, and Blake Gordon stood out to me as far as his talent level. I'd seen him on a couple of your guys' broadcasts, be up front, stuff like that, but you don't know really all that much until you actually race the guy. And I thought between just battling him on track and just the sheer speed that he showed, was probably a guy that I would say stuck out to me the most as far as the new people.
I think he probably has goals for next season.
Oh, for sure. I think he could definitely, if he comes back, I would 100%, think that he could compete for a championship for sure. He has that speed, he has the skill. Just get the finishes down, and yeah, I think he's right there for sure.
I'll tell you, if you do want to keep him towards the back, the intermediates not his thing.
Yeah, just keep putting intermediate.
Put him on the short tracks.
Do all 1.5-mile tracks on the schedule. Sorry, Blake.
Do those, give him a little bit extra time, and on the road courses in the car, yeah, he'll fight you guys. Oh, by the way, Cameron Hearn, I don't remember what kind of bourbon went into my old fashioned today, because it was just grab a bottle, make it quickly.
Mine was Bullet.
Mine was definitely not Bullet. I had to choose because I haven't bought a cheaper but good bottle in a while. I had to figure out which one would be best for my old fashioned.
All right. So one other thing. So out of everything you've done this season so far, like what is your top accomplishment for this whole entire season? Like what's the number one thing that sticks out of your head that you were able to do that you thought that either A, couldn't be possible, or just, that was awesome for you?
Mm-hmm. I would say probably those back-to-back wins in the finals really set me up there at the end. Just had to finish Nashville, within the top 15 or something like that to clinch. Just being able to go into the finals and have a result like that was huge. Yeah, I mean, like I can't necessarily think of anything off the top of my head. The season went by so fast. It's crazy how 16 weeks goes just in the blink of an eye, and it's already over.
I mean, just as us as broadcasters, like, man, we're already done with this league. It's 16 weeks gone, and like, what am I going to do on Mondays now?
Right.
Yeah, I'm used to. We just finished up the TNT season, which has been running since January. The AOL Sportsman series, which has been running since February, and the Cup finishes this week and it's been running since February. Like, yeah, 16 weeks is short.
But it's still long.
It is. Yeah, no, like when you're in the midst of it, it seems like it takes an eternity to get to the end. But I personally like the shorter seasons. I like splitting the year up into an A and a B, because for a multitude of different reasons. But if you all of a sudden just find yourself, especially if it's not like a win and you're in type thing, and you're just well back in points toward the end of the year, it just feels like there's no point continuing. Where shorter seasons kind of give guys a chance to be in competition longer, I feel like, and just people have attention spans that just kind of fit that, I think, to a degree, because we're not out here racing for big teams and stuff. Like there's no point in devoting your entire year from like February to November on one night or 2 nights each week and just continually racing week after week after week. Like it really pays to give guys breaks, let them regroup, and then come back for another season, and you have more winners that way. I think you have more champions, of course. So, I'm always a fan of have an A and a B season, give guys a, summer break or winter break or whatever, and, keep it that way.
Yeah, I think there's advantages to both. I mean, I think that's I've seen AOL does it both ways. I mean, TNT series has kind of the sub series, and then still a year-long champion. Because Josh. And then also has the year-long season. I mean, it's nice to have like kind of that marathon like we saw with Blake Gordon and Justin Anderson battling it out over an entire year. It's been really awesome. But I we've also seen participation fall off. So I mean, there's pros and cons to each one, I think. And I think the length of season for Fuel worked out really well for what you guys were doing.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're gonna be able to kind of split it up and have two different seasons for champions, because some people were able to race in the spring and some people were able to race in the fall, so you can kind of choose what you want to race and everything like that. But you also have two opportunities to run for a championship in 1 year. Um, I mean, what I do like, AOL, and Fuel also does it. You have multiple races at the end for the playoffs for a champion. AOL did 3 races and for their Sportsman series and Cup series, so it's not just a winner take all in the last one, kind of like NASCAR does. You actually have 3 and 4 races that you can kind of compete in, and hopefully you can be consistent between all 3 or 4 races there in that final stretch.
Yeah, and I think as far as like a season-long championship goes, or a year-long almost championship, if you get to that point and you win it, like how much more satisfying is that for you to just complete an entire year almost, and
Josh,
you're
that's
competing
gonna
against
be
the same
towards you.
guys, like yeah, like it's huge, having so many weeks devoted to a season, and then to come out and you're the one that comes out on top, like that's big time.
Well, if Carl had any say in it, it would have been a lot shorter
Wait, what now?
because, well, actually, no. It's one of those fun things that, yeah, it's kind of nice to know that you came out on top after the full year, but meh. At the end of the day, it just ended up that unfortunately it didn't work out kind of the way that I would have wanted because I know I'm making Carl laugh. We lost so many competitors throughout that process, and then we had some people jump in and replace it to where it just kind of makes it to where while it's awesome, it's a little anticlimactic. And then Carl missed races and
Well,
all
so did
that.
you. I mean, it's in the end, I wasn't beating you any way you look at it. Uh, really, the only rule change I would like to see, rather than switching different season styles or whatever, is just to make it where you have to park it for the first lap. You and Brandon, actually, and then I'll be good.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I think it was really nice though to be able to race for individual ones. You had your 3 different season winners, but then it sucks like you said that Sean and Blake ZD, they kind
Cody.
of took out for a little bit, and them they kind of like were sparse
Yeah,
there, and especially Sean. Sean was a huge competitor there all the way up until season 3, and then kind of
we're moving along to a different league.
Yeah.
but
Whoops.
By the way, Cameron also says you guys need to stop the halfway points.
I ain't the guy to talk about that, so take it up with Will, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's just something that you try to throw in there to give guys, in the middle of the race, like throwing a little bit different strategy or something, and it's kind of a like it, don't like it thing. I know, some guys on my team just, voice their displeasure with the halfway points, but then again, I'm sure there's some people that like it. But again, I guess that's something that you got to reiterate a little bit because I think some people forgot about it, and
Mm.
somebody's up there in the top 5 and then they pit a little bit early before halfway and then they don't get the points because they didn't even think about it. That kind of throws a
Yeah.
wrench into things.
But I also like the fact that it gives you another avenue of getting points. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not doing stage racing, like in IVRL, we did stage racing for that. So, you're able to fight through multiple points in the race to get point, or multiple points in the race to get points, versus just like hopefully you're there on the right lap, in the right position on the final lap to get all your points. If you didn't lead a lap, or get the pole, or lead the most laps, you're not getting any really good bonus points. So it's just another avenue to kind of get points there. So I kind of like that halfway mark idea.
Yeah, for me, I'm just one of those people that never really pits around in a way that would make sense for that. And then we also saw you guys over the last few races pushing stints to the absolute limit, which ended up working out well for certain people.
um, I think both worked out for me. I did the undercut once. I did the overcut once. I guess it just depends on who you're racing and how well they manage their tires and everything. But yeah, the halfway stuff really wasn't on my mind all that much, to be quite honest. But at the end of the day, like, as long as I knew I was going to be there toward the end, probably fighting for a win, then I really wasn't too concerned about it. But again, to like Adam's point, it does give other people chances to earn different points. Same as like winning the pole or leading the most laps or stuff like that. It's just different ways to keep people involved.
Well, we could even talk about the Alan Elwood Pole Award that, as I'm looking through here, you won more than anyone else in that
It's like I
process.
planned it that way or something.
I mean, maybe. You just didn't want to
No,
have to pay that one out.
well, I mean, can you blame me?
No.
Uh, no, like that's just another thing. It just worked out in my favor some nights. Qualifying's a crapshoot. There was a couple times where I didn't think I was going to get the pole, and I got the pole. So sometimes it just works out that way.
Oh man, it's been a great season though for you. Like, we're up here in the booth trying to look down and trying to figure out who's going to be in the top 5 running that night, and your name like constantly came up. And I mean, that's a great thing to hear. Whenever you go back and you watch it and you're looking at it, knowing that your name's always in the mix, and that any given Monday night that you're vying for a win. I mean, it's got to be kind of pumped and stoked in your own self that to be able to be up front in that huge of a competitive league that you guys have. I mean, start out, having 40 plus every week, and then kind of dwindle down to like 30 plus every week. And, basically everybody there was a contender at one point or another.
Yeah, that was a goal of ours that we talked about before the season started, was to have a league that had guys that were going to stay committed. There, of course, there's things that you're not going to be able to control, but you were hoping that when we brought new guys on along the people that we were keeping, that we were going to be able to stay 25 on average strong. And I think we accomplished that for sure. Like to your point again, we had a lot of guys that were in contention each night, and I think that put on really good racing. A couple races got out of hand, but you're going to have that through a season, no matter who you got. And I think especially the bigger tracks, there were more races this year that went caution free or had minimal cautions, because I will put a stat in there, our head admin, about if you took out the 3 short tracks that had the most issues, we only averaged like, I think, less than 3 cautions a race, which is fantastic. So you can't ask for anything really better than that. And I think that the group of people that we had registered for this season, for the most part, put their best foot forward, and we had a really good year.
Yeah, it looked like it from us up here in the booth. Sometimes it makes me jealous on certain tracks that I'm in the booth while watching you guys put on an excellent race, and some nail biter finishes too throughout it. We, at some point, it was 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, whenever I was watching the finish, Josh is talking and kind of following along, and I'm just like mesmerized, like, oh man, is this happening? This is really happening? Just going through the final laps there. So it's kind of great to be able to, as a broadcaster, be able to put on that type of exciting races for the fan and be able to call it.
Yeah, like when we were at Auto Club and I chased down Stroll there right at the end with a few laps to go. Like you asked earlier about probably the biggest thing that stuck out to me for the season. Maybe that one, just because like Stroll, and he showed it there at the end of the season at Nashville. He finally got that win. He really improved the season as well, along with Bressie. I thought that Stroll really showed good speed, and he tried the strategy to win it on, pitting a little bit different time, and depending on how traffic goes at Auto Club, I could have burned my tires up and he could have stole the win. So like that one in itself really felt good to chase him down and have a good battle there too. He didn't quit. We stayed side by side for a lap and a half, 2 laps, and even right there at the very end, he was still less than a second behind. So he put up a good enough fight that I kind of wore my tires out trying to pass him. So that was a really good battle, and I think we had a lot of those this year for many different people.
And I will say, my favorite interview of the year was definitely Michael Stroll this past week.
And did you watch his Twitch?
No.
You have to go back and watch that. If you think the interview is good, you got to go back and watch his actual reaction when he won.
No, because it's rare that you ever get to see or hear someone just be that genuinely at a loss for words. And yeah, we've been watching him all year have those almost finishes, and to finally get it on the last try of the year. Yeah, it was just, you couldn't have written a better story.
Yeah, like you watch back the finish there, and Cameron Hearn watching out there giving a little bumper to Justin Morton, and then Stroll's just like right place, right time. Oh, I'm gonna pass you low and take the win. Like, what more could you ask for?
Doesn't matter how it happens. It
Yeah.
still
Right.
happens.
Yeah, a win's a win.
I mean, he was up there all night long, so it wasn't a fluke for what position he was at. He put himself in the right position for the right time, and circumstances dictated that he's going to drop low as they were having their little fight. So he just drove on by for the win. Sometimes you have to win it that way. A win is a win.
Yeah, like how many times has Kevin Harvick, for example, like last lap stole a win or something?
Yeah.
Like you got to take them when you can get them. That's for sure.
Yeah, the wonderful closer.
Yeah, but at least after that one, Justin still managed to pull off the second, at least to keep it at least a little interesting.
Yeah, him and me, like I was sweating bullets there at the finish of that race, being swarmed in the middle of the pack. I did, yeah, that was not where I wanted to be. Let's just put it that much. I was running up front there for a while, and then just the way the cautions fell and pitting and everything else, it's like, man, I did not want to be sitting, 7th, 8th there on that final restart, because you never know. I could have gotten wrecked and lost the whole thing. So that was nerve wracking in itself. So, but I saw that happening up there, and I thought, man, I know that Justin's fighting to the very end, and if something happens to him, like he's going to be super upset too. But that's just the end of the season. Everybody's fighting for that last win, and everybody's going to try to do what they can to try to bring it home.
No, but it was definitely a brilliant season. I still want to say that Fuel is the best league I've ever watched run as part of, top to bottom in terms of talent. Like we've said it multiple times, any given night there can be a different group running for the top 5.
And there's great
And
battles throughout. Not like, it's not like, oh crap, that, it's the back part of the field's always the one that's going to be, causing the wrecks. No, like, you have the top tier people still causing, making a little small mistake that causes wreck, and everybody throughout from front to back, is competitive in their own right, and they're out there, hammering out, trying to get a win or trying to get a top 5, So yeah, it's great to be able to see that. There was great racing throughout the whole entire field.
Yeah. Circumstances for me as far as next season goes, I'm not going to be able to return, at least for the time being, to fuel. So that's kind of a bummer. But I think looking back at what we tried to accomplish this season, I think we did that maybe more. And we had different awards that weren't there before. The pole award, the hard charger. Stuff like that. We just tried to hopefully give people a little bit more to race for. And I think that those guys have the right idea now to take forward and build upon. And I think that you're going to see even better probably next year. Whenever the season starts, I think that they're going to be able to take that and just continue to improve, and the product's only going to get better. So stay tuned with that. And I think those guys are you saw what they did this year, what we did this year. I think it's only gonna get better as time goes on.
Can't ask for more. And there's Carl back.
You had to go get another drink.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I'm about there. I've been saving the last little spittle for.
I've got just a little bit left, so.
Well, why don't we do this? Salute to you, good sir,
hold
on
up.
a win.
Hold up. Before you do that, you got to ask him the question.
Okay. All right. So this is continuing a conversation that Carl and I and our team had earlier. Deep dish or New York style? Pizza.
Oh, that was not where I was expecting that question to go. Wow.
We got to throw random stuff out there, man.
And I want to be clear. When we say deep dish, we don't mean like Pizza Hut deep dish. We're talking about like
no.
Chicago deep dish, like that.
Wow.
And don't worry, Blake, we'll have your opportunity soon enough.
Yeah, you can keep your comments to yourself right now, Blake.
I guess deep dish. I'll go deep dish. I can't say, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I can't say that I've eaten either of those all that much, because the pizza that like my wife and I normally order is just your normal like run-of-the-mill type crust.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really ever get anything like deep dish or anything like that. So if I had to pick one, like me personally, I'm a big sauce guy. So anything that has more sauce on it, I'm cool with. Like, no disrespect, like cheese, all that stuff, I'm good with all that. But I would personally like more sauce on my pizza. So
I just want more of all of it.
If you give me a good pizza or like just meat pizza, that's where it's at for me. Like any type of meat pizza, that's my go-to.
All right, I just have to ask because I've learned that this is a massive controversy, and according to a reasonable amount of my team, I'm on the wrong side of it.
I was gonna say, is this like a split 50-50 with you guys? That this is like some.
I don't know that it's split 50-50 because I mean, to be fair, it could be that some of our teams confused because one is pizza and one is not. So just the whole, it's like, oh, Chicago style pizza must be the same stuff that's in New York. Like, no, it's literally soup
I'm
in a bowl.
aware that I will eat both of them because my preference is pizza. Give me sauce, give me cheese, and I'm happy.
That's where I'm at. Give me pizza, I'm good. In the end, I probably don't care what it is.
However, one of them gets me more excited, and that's deep dish.
Oh, what about Papa's Pizza?
Intended. And I'm waiting to make a trip down to Cincinnati so I can get Papa's Pizza.
Aren't you pretty close to Cincinnati?
It's like a 3.5 hour drive.
Holy crap!
I'm closer to Cincinnati than
I was gonna say, yeah, he's at about an hour
I'm
and a
in
half
Columbus,
tops.
so I'm definitely closer.
Well, you gotta go down to see the Braxton DeWeese fan club down in Cincinnati, and go to Papa's Pizza and get some Papa's Pizza. They are
Yeah, maybe they give me the VIP treatment.
they come out in force on Monday nights. So whenever Braxton races, there's at least 6 of them every week when Braxton
Oh,
races.
that's almost every day after the race. That's what we're talking about. Is the Braxton Dewey's fan club was out in full force on the broadcast last night. So
So we appreciate them. You know, we love to see the fan clubs. We like to interact with them. Get the friends and the family. You know, come root you on. That's what we like to see up here. That we can interact with them. You know, and to see that. And you know, and it also helps to get your favorite driver seeing a little bit more airtime. You know, we'll shy away from the leaders there and like, hey, let's see what Braxton's up to. You know, you got 6 people out there rooting for him. We'll pander to
We'll
you
give
guys.
you that.
I mean, what can I say? Us Buckeyes are nuts. So you know,
Midwestern
Yeah,
people
let's
are
go.
awesome.
Is that why you married one?
Yes. Oh, but hey, man, we would appreciate you putting on a hell of a season for us here. And then I'll let Josh continue his toast before.
I was gonna say, salute to you, good sir, on a fantastic season, a good win, and
No, I
many more
appreciate
coming
that.
forward.
Yes, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys jumping in, and when we needed somebody here to help our league grow and put us on different platforms. That's what makes you guys unique, is you're on different platforms. You got this Friday night thing with the podcast. I think if anybody's out there looking for a broadcaster, look at these guys, look at you guys. You're up and coming, and you guys are continuing to get better. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I think you guys will make it really far in iRacing in the community, and doing something like this is, like I said, unique. And so we look forward to seeing what you guys have in the future here, and definitely be tuning in for sure.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, sir. It's been a delight.
We'll see you in the off season. I hear we might have some fun racing with the field, and since it's not broadcasted, I will be out there whenever possible to hanging out with and actually racing with you guys.
Adam, that's assuming you're invited.
I am. I'm in the field.
Invited
But
everybody.
I just assumed.
I'm just saying they might look at resumes and say like.
And here's the thing: is Adam's actually really good in the trucks as long as he doesn't speed on pit road.
yeah.
Sounds like you.
Hey, he's the one who did it
always
on
something.
Wednesday, not me.
Yeah. I finished the season off by speeding on the last pit stop. It's awesome.
That's,
It happens.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yep, and then come 2 points shy of getting the highest finish in the points I could. So 2 points shy, 2 points. Joe got me.
It happens.
Get it back next time.
Yep. All right. Well, man, have a wonderful off season, man. We'll be in talks with you guys later on.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks again for having me on. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff. You guys have a good rest of your year.
Same to you.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.
Josh, are you just gonna make another old fashioned
No,
on camera?
it's just going straight to the
Mm.
source, not no old fashioned.
So when you're
'Cause
making your
this
old
is
fashioned,
Scotch.
when you make your old fashions, do you use like the sugar cubes or you go with simple syrup?
I am too cheap for anything other than just pure white sugar.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, that works too. I mean,
Just muddle it and
I mean, you can actually. I mean, you can make your own simple by just putting it in a bottle in the fridge. Just leave it there for a few days, and it'll just all combine. So I use simple. It's not the official, like the traditional way to do it, but it's just easy to grab a squeeze bottle and just squirt a little bit in there.
yeah, that's why yeah,
Mhm.
phrasing. No, I'm too lazy for any of that. I'm just amazed that I have bitters because there was a time that it was I'm making an old fashioned, here's a little sugar, a little water, and then just bourbon. And then it just turned into straight bourbon,
Yeah.
which is where I'm at. Well, technically it's scotch, but
All right, so it's been a wonderful season. We got done Fuel Racing League, but then we broadcasted for 3 different AOL leagues and IVRL league. We're doing this podcast. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride this year. It's kind of our first full year here at Ghostfire Media. I appreciate Carl, Josh, Nick, Randy, the Larry Patrick when he wasn't drunk Larry on the show.
Especially when he was drunk, Larry.
I miss Larry O'Patrick a little bit there.
He's out there in the comments section. It's been a hell of a year for us. I've had a fun time, and I know leagues, had a fun time, listening to us. Being out there and broadcasting for them. So, it's always fun to be both the racer and the broadcaster, various times. And, I'm looking forward to see what 2022 has for us. And then also looking forward to, getting back on the roads. I'm already missing, the weekly leagues,
Well, and we'll have one thing to look forward to, but we'll wait for one of our Endeavor Racing guys to come on before it gets plugged too much,
Oh yeah.
because we're only about 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's a one-off fun event. Let's see. I'm gonna message him, and he might be strickler on time, so let me go ahead and message good old Brandon. Go ahead and get on.
I was gonna say, now's as good a time as any to finally go ahead and flip that on in the background.
Oh, look at you. Do you have that on Home Assistant?
I do.
Nice.
I was trying to get it to where the switch that it's connected to is actually also dimmable, but the automation that I was trying to use to where when I turned it on to just kind of have it slowly go up wouldn't work right.
What you should do is whenever I just start talking trash about you on the podcast, just
Think.
turn it on.
There's a reason why it's right there. Yes.
It's kind of like that the old Sprint commercials in NASCAR where someone was giving Jimmy John, I didn't remember who it was. Someone was giving Jimmy Johnson advice in this commercial, and Jimmy just like grabs his Nextel phone. He's like, "Oh, bring it to me or whatever," and they hand him one of his championship trophies, and he stands there and holds it. So that's
Elliot.
Oh, it's Elliot Sadler. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I used to love those commercials. I miss those things. Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct, Justin. We are going to show the picture of you. Josh, go ahead and throw it up on the screen so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Well, no, because I was showing Adam something earlier to where that was what I was showing him, so that is currently the photo on my my Illuminati's box, because deep dish for life.
I would share my image of the is this pizza thing, but I don't know how to do what you're doing, so I'll I'm assuming you're doing. Are you piping your camera through OBS or?
Yeah.
Okay, well I don't do that, so I should probably start.
Mean that?
Ah, there it is.
That's what we're looking for. Or the other one, and unfortunately I didn't save the replay, it could show him dooring me at North Wilkesboro too. Because there's that one.
Alrighty, we have the man, the myth, the legend of Brandon Bernhardt here.
What's up, guys?
There it is.
Alrighty, man, you've been on this podcast way too many times. You're what, the 4 Pete, 5 Pete?
That's a really mean thing to say.
He's
Yeah, it's 4 or 5, I think.
He's trying to go for the most all-time podcast guest here. You got Steve, which Steve on Saturday Night Live, I forgot his last name. white hair.
I don't know.
Steve Martin?
Yeah, Steve Martin, he's got
Okay.
like the 10-time club or something like that for the Saturday
But-
Night Live hosting. Brandon Bernhardt's trying to get that award for the podcast here for Ghost Fire Media.
Has Brandon been on more times than Nick?
Probably at this point.
Distinctly possible.
Yeah, you guys keep having Blake on, so I gotta keep trying to keep up with him. And you have him on tonight, so it's not helping.
Well, Blake's a winner, so.
Oh, so is Brandon,
so
and that's why he's
that's
here.
shots fired right there. That's truly shots fired.
Let's talk that one. Hey Carl, how many points did Brandon beat you by this season?
It was I missed some races and
125.
I mean, it's
take.
still
I can't say
happens.
shit because he had me by 20, so
Yeah.
still had me to where he was a season 3 champion and probably would have been in the battle for other things had he been there all year, if not the winner. But I'm still going to turn that back on.
Yeah, I told Carl if you extrapolate it out, I think I may come out on top if you do the whole full season.
But
Just
see,
based on my one.
and this is what I said in response to Brandon. I defended you, Josh, because you can't necessarily extrapolate it out because at least at the beginning of this season, Josh was being extremely conservative, and because he knew that as long as he didn't screw up, he had the year-long championship that I wasn't going to be able to catch him, and he did that. I mean, he was coming
once
out
we hit the ARCA cars, it was over.
What now?
Once we hit the ARCAs, the conservative went out the window.
What do you mean once we hit the ARCAs?
My conservative went out.
Oh
the
yeah,
window.
you were still conservative up until a few weeks left in the season. You at least you were telling me you were. If you weren't being conservative, then I feel good about beating you. Those times I did. So
Yeah,
I'll take that.
There was that was me just trying to make myself feel better for you beating me.
Okay. But all I'm saying is, like, I think I mean, Brandon, obviously you were freaking dominant this season, and it is why I'm looking forward to a full-time Cup season with me, you, Josh, ZD, Sean. I mean, I think that it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the ARCA car worried me because I had run it last season. That was Sportsman, or last year that was Sportsman before we switched to trucks, and I struggled pretty bad. So I was worried about the ARCA car getting into it. Especially as you guys had a season or plus running it already. So I was pretty happy with how fast I picked it up and I was able to run with it. The bad thing is the Cup car. I was just now getting used to that damn thing and figuring out how to drive it, and now we're switching to the next gen. Granted, from everything I've seen and ran, the next gen is going to be easier to kind of get the hang of. It's an easier car to drive. So unless they change that drastically, hopefully there's not too much fall off. I'm hoping that the next gen kind of closes up the field a little bit more. Maybe Blake and Justin and Hanner aren't as dominant.
I mean, how many points were you behind Justin for the Sportsman?
We
crown?
tied.
That
We tied
there
for fourth or whatever. And then if I would have had a better Wilkesboro, I think I would have been a little bit closer to Blake and Piscini, but somehow Daytona Road Course my best finish out of their final round. I don't know how that happened.
Hey, it was my
and-
best finish either.
you were close, Adam, but you pulled the Josh and sped on pit road.
Yeah, on the Sportsman I did on the last race, and then I did that on the second to final race in the middle section in the Cup race to take me out of the Cup championship for. So yeah, fun times. But no, you put a hell of a race there together, or not race, but the whole entire season together there, Brandon. You came in, you took up a challenge that was thrown at you. You thought it was semi a slap in your face, so to speak, of being offered the invitation to step down to the TNT series, but you said, all right, well, if you want me to be in there, I'm going to go in there. And you showed them, you're like, hey, I'm here to race, and I'm not going to hold anything back.
Yeah, like I said, one of the interviews, there's no disrespect to anybody that run in TNT or anything like that, but it's a developmental series, and I've been in Cup for a year and a half plus now, I think, and for them to be like, oh, you're bad enough to go run TNT with the developmental guys, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't get quite as many wins as I was hoping for, but
Well, you can go right to hell with that.
well, I had a shot at 10. I was like, oh, it'd be sweet to get half the wins, but
yeah, no, I
failed at the end there.
it was funny because I can remember after I got my third win of the season, I was feeling like, holy crap, I might be able to compete with you, because I think at that point you had 4 wins, I had 3 wins, something like that, and then I didn't get another win. So, it was a dominant freaking season, man. I mean, I honestly, outside of like, and really, actually, we haven't had a season like that before in TNT. I mean, you're already like, just in one season, because you ran TNT the season I joined, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So the second season of 2020.
Yeah,
Um,
I came in the inaugural
okay.
season
And
ran that first season, and then I ran like 3 races with the street stock. I'm like, I hate this thing, and I kind of slipped out of it.
did you have a win in TNT prior to this season?
Yeah. So the very first AOL TNT race when they came rebooted, I was fastest in the Tuesday practice, fastest in the Thursday practice, quick time, and then led every lap. So I did all that, and then I never won again. So, it was a little rough, but
you know what I wanted to point out here is that in one season, this season TNT, you finished third in all-time wins. And if you were just counting the season, third in all-time wins in TNT. Now, if you count that previous win, you're tied for second for all-time wins. So, I mean, it was a dominant freaking season. What I'm getting at. I mean, the number of wins was absolutely insane.
The number top threes was insane.
Well, yeah, let's not get started on that. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of Josh in the first season of this year when he just kept getting those seconds over and over and over. Except the difference was you actually got wins, unlike him. So
I had 3.
You had 3 that first season. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll continue to go through that this year in TNT. I had maybe, I think, 4 oval wins in total. The rest were just road courses.
Yeah, those boring road courses where nothing really happens.
So who has the most wins? Is it Johnny or does somebody else?
It's Josh.
Oh, it is Josh. Okay.
Yep, Josh is first, and you and I are tied for second.
I had 2 last year and then 8 this year.
And I mean, obviously, Johnny.
So I could have tied you. Dang it.
Johnny would have been up. Johnny would have been up there if he had been racing in TNT this season. I mean, that's dude is so good. And honestly, same with Dan Witt. I mean, Dan was really good when I ran with him as well. So, and even when he came back for that one, did he come out for 1 or 2 races for when we opened it up?
I think it was just Southern National.
Yeah, but he was fast. I mean, he was fast. He had some issues, but he was really fast.
Yeah, a lot of my success in TNT was partially due to being moved down, but you two really. Atlanta was our second race after I won Daytona, and you guys just absolutely kicked my ass at Atlanta. And
don't say you too, because that's taking a little bit away from me.
I'm gonna it's that way.
I'm gonna claim my single dominant win that I've ever had. So.
Yeah, I figured the track out a little late. No, I was catching Kevin and probably had something for you guys if I would have figured it out earlier. But yeah, you guys, or Carl, I guess, kicked my ass. I was like, okay, I can't just let this happen.
Even if he only beat me by 1 full second.
So that gave me a little bit extra motivation. I was like, okay, I got to figure this out quicker than I was expecting.
Honestly,
yeah, I think I made up for it at the Bristol race. So.
Oh, don't get me started on that freaking Bristol race.
Yeah, we won't get into that
one. But no, I mean it was frustrating for me. Honestly, the race that I think defined your season more than any other race for me was Nashville Superspeedway. Because honestly, both you and ZD, I think it was the 2 of you, just it was the first race that I've run in TNT where I did not feel competitive at all. And then USA followed, and I also didn't feel competitive there. But I mean, it was dominant.
Cough,
You guys
Las
were
Vegas.
crazy good.
Cough, cough.
Yeah, I enjoyed the track, especially the ARCA car. It felt great. Even I mean, we ran it and everything now between fuel and AOL, and there's something about the ARCA car just was really really good there. I was a little surprised. I think Josh probably could have kept up if he wouldn't have had his incident on that restart where he spun into the
2 of them.
grass.
I had
Yeah.
2 of them that lap.
If it wasn't for that, Josh I think would have been there. But yeah, I was pretty impressed at how well me and ZD were able to kind of pull away there.
Yeah, I honestly, I think of all the cars that I've run there, without a doubt, the ARCA was the best car to run.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, Xfinity wasn't bad. Fuel waste ran. But it's still the ARCA car ran the best, or I felt ran the best there.
If we could ignore the whole bumper clipping issue with the ARCA cars,
Yep.
I actually firmly believe that is my favorite car to run in iRacing of the stock cars.
I'm
I
really
should say.
optimistic about. Well, so first of all, I love the Legends car as well. I love the Legends, but I'm really optimistic about the next gen. I have some questions about it, but every time I've run it, I've had a blast with it.
You know what I like about it? It kind of gives everybody a chance. We've run a couple fun races with it, and like I know Michigan, we ran I think 50 or 70 laps or something like that, and we had 24 different leaders. Like, when's the last time we ever had 20 something leaders? Like, they actually lead the lap, not just, somehow poke their nose in front of it. No, we actually had like 20 different lap leaders during that
Well,
race.
And I'll be honest, if we look at what the Sportsman race was at Las Vegas on Wednesday, there's part of me that's worried that the next gen is going to turn a lot of those tracks into something similar.
So,
With the added
yeah,
downforce
that-
that we're going to see Michigan turn into a super
well,
speedway
I feel
proper.
that, a lot of people have that opinion whenever you're racing solo. 100% solo, it feels like a flat out car almost. But once you get in that draft, I mean, instead of picking up like maybe 3 to 5 miles an hour, you're picking up 10, 15 miles an hour at Michigan going on a back straightaway. I mean, these cars come to life in the draft. But at the same time, you don't have that bubble where as soon as you get close to it, your run stalls out. You're able to come up and close in and then pull out the last second and continue on with your momentum. And I think that's what this current gen is kind of lacking, is that continuation of the momentum, because you can always get to their back bumper, but as soon as you get to that back bumper, like, well, there goes my run. That air bubble that just screws over the car itself. You can't really do anything.
Well, we saw it at Vegas. I mean, right? You saw it over and over. You'd have someone that was really fast, and then they would try to drop to the bottom, and you could not actually complete the pass. It just would not. Like, you would just drop out of line. It would just stall out. It just would not go. And I'm hoping that the next gen car with a lot of the aero changes will be better in that regard. And I only ran one race with you guys in the next gen car, and that was the one at the fun race we did at Kansas. And I had a freaking blast with it. I thought it was awesome. It wasn't. I wouldn't say. I mean, it wasn't difficult in the sense of like, get really careful with brakes and all. I mean, like, you weren't using the brakes at all, but it was like this constant like gambling of like, how much can I keep on the throttle without spinning this thing out? And it was very predictable. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
And it's like, which lane I'm going to go in? Like, where
Yep.
am I going to find it? Like, okay, he's getting a run here. Where can I get the run? And it wasn't like, okay, well, I'm just going to ride behind this guy and hopefully he messes up and I can drop underneath him and pass him. Because that's kind of.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic for the next gen. I hope it's going to be good in real life and in iRacing. It'd be, in my opinion, I think the Cup car currently is the easiest to drive of the three. Well, I don't know what the easiest, but like the Xfinity car is the hardest to drive. You actually have to drive that thing at pretty much every track. The truck's just a blast to drive. It's probably the easiest to drive, but it's a blast. There's just that Cup car I don't know, doesn't seem as fun as the other two series really. So I'm hoping this next gen kind of closes that gap. And even in real life, you see it. The trucks, they put on Wreckfest and crap, and have good races, and the Xfinity every week is almost always the best race, and the Cup is just it's boring, Larson or Denny or somebody just leads the whole race, and then that's it. So I'm hoping, in real life and in iRacing, this next gen really closes that gap and makes for a lot better racing.
Which to be fair, in real life NASCAR, I mean that's always happened in the Cup Series. I mean, you have even back to like the low downforce stuff. You always had the guys who just like got it, like high horsepower, low downforce. Jimmy Johnson did really good at it. Kyle Busch was good at it. I mean, and I'm all for like as long as we're not entirely losing the integrity of like you have to have some skill here to succeed. If we can just kind of narrow the gap a little bit so that it's not so much like, well, if you throw money at this, and even converting back to iRacing, like you just throw a shit ton of practice at this. Like I think that I think it's better. I think overall it'll be more fun and we'll have a better time with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm optimistic. I like the way they sound, so that'd be fun just to drive. I like the way they look.
I like the dash is a little
Uh,
bit further out, so any field of view that you have is kind of it's more that dash is more in play. I like that aspect of it, and who knows, the fifth gear might actually prevail on a lot of like different tracks, especially the road courses. So give you a little bit more dynamics on the shifting points, and then who knows, some of the tracks like Phoenix and Pocono, you'll be able to downshift and actually use that fifth gear and fourth gear, learn that to your advantage.
yeah, I'm glad we're running it next year, giving it a shot. It'll be interesting to see if they add the digital camera like they're going to do in real life. If they try to implement that in iRacing or not, that'd be kind of interesting to see.
They have it in some of the other cars. Like, I know the GTE cars, if you use like the normal mirror, it'll actually use the screen instead of it being just the iRacing floating, whatever you want to call it. I've turned it on. No, you get better view with the digital stuff. I'm not a fan, but it's there.
So, uh, so we're hearing rumors that TNT won't be a beginners league next year. So, what are your takes for your 2022 as a whole there, Brandon? Like what are your goals, your aspects, and what do you think you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't talk much on the TNT series.
I promise I did not put him up to that question.
We don't have really
This is
anything
me.
figured out there yet. I think there'll be changes. I'm pretty confident I can say that. I'm not fully sure what they're going to be yet.
I'm
But
asking you as a driver, I'm not. There's no admin here. I'm asking you as a
Okay.
driver, like, what is your goals and aspects of 2022 as a driver? Going forward through next year, like, how do you see yourself competing and upping yourself and trying to top what you did this year?
Yeah, basically just try to use the momentum I have right now. Last year, I kind of ended this season on some pretty high momentum. I was getting faster. I was like a point or two from making the final four in the truck series. Last race, I got wrecked on lap one, got stuck in the wall, and just could never rebound from it, and that kicked me out. So I wasn't able to capitalize, on that momentum this year. And I came out of the gate and should have won iRacing Super Speedway in the truck. I made a bad move at the end and went off Justin's nose. That was a mistake. And ever since then, the first quarter of the year, I struggled like real bad. I was like a 20th place truck and cup car the whole time, and there's a couple times I think it was Chicagoland or something like that in the truck. And I told Blake, like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm taking a break from this crap. I was struggling so bad. And thankfully he talked me out of it, and progressively got better. And then here at the end, I feel like I've gained a lot. I've been, consistently a top 10 in both trucks and cup. Had a couple seconds in there. I got the win in the truck series. So just kind of gain on that. I go on to be a consistent top 10 driver. Work my way to that top 5. I still think there's a skill gap there between Blake and Justin and like Hanner and Greg. Those guys have so much more experience on here. that I don't have. So there's a little bit of gap there, but hoping to close that a little bit and at least look competitive this year or next year.
So, I mean, on that note, I mean, obviously you ran TNT, you had a really great season, and I'm wondering, like, do you think that experience is going to help out in terms of Cup for next year? And you won races, you've led a lot of laps, or do you think it might end up hurting you because it's honestly, no offense, Josh, a lot lower caliber of competition in TNT series versus the Cup series?
I think it helped a lot, honestly. One from the motivation standpoint of them seeing me that I could run in there, like, oh, this guy can't compete in Cup, so yeah, you can take him down in developmental league. So that was a lot of motivation there. That helped. I think once I got into TNT, my performance in the other two series improved. So kind of just the confidence that it gave that yeah, I can do this, if I really wanted to. And then fuel as well. Just run. Those guys are so good. So just I had like a ninth, like the second to last race. And, like that was almost bigger than my second in the Cup Series in AOL, just because of how tough that competition is and how much I've struggled. So I think the just here recent results are showing that the experience has definitely helped me, and hopefully I can carry that experience on.
All right, so I'm gonna ask the same question to Josh. Josh, you were the overall champion for 2021 for TNT series. What's your plans, and how do you think that all this experience that you have is going to translate into your 2022 goals?
I'm probably just going to reiterate just about everything that Brandon just said. I'm not going to plan on winning next year. It'll probably turn into something like the Sportsman was this year, that I just want to make the chase. And then the next round of the chase happens. Well, I just want to get to the next round, and then to the next round, and then suddenly you actually have a battle sitting in front of you to get the final spot on the podium. Do I think that's happening in the Cup next year? No. No. Do I think I could probably get into the final round, or one of the final rounds, or in the chase at all? Maybe.
That's how
I don't know. I think
that's how I
you
felt
made it in
this year.
you made the final 6 trucks. That was pretty impressive. You came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he finished third in trucks.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere there, and then with this new next gen, we'll probably have a decent amount of road courses. So like Sean still win at Indy. So I definitely think I could see you, getting a win or at least a top 3 at one of those tracks.
Well, and it's more, I will reiterate what you were saying. I get to come into the Cup at the exact right time. Everybody's starting a new car, to where I'm not coming into a league running with people that have been running the Cup cars for years, months, and I think I could count on one hand the number of times I've run the Cup car in a competitive environment.
Yeah, you and Carl it'll be helpful with you guys coming in really first full time in the new next gen when everybody else is new to it. I mean, I'm sure some guys will have experience. They're probably running it in officials and stuff like that. But as a season long deal and with the guys we're running against, it's gonna be all new for everybody. So hoping that alone, kind of closes that gap where we can see more guys winning than just 5 guys.
Five Guys, great sponsor. Thanks for plugging.
Ah. Let's not talk about food.
Oh man, but you guys both came out of I mean, not so to speak, came out of nowhere, but you guys had consistent finishes throughout the year, but then came alive near the end and put yourselves in the right spots. Brandon, you made both the playoffs there, the final ones. Josh, you made the final one there in the Sportsman series, made it all the way up to third. I mean, you guys put a hell of a season together to get you in the right spot at the right time to come alive. Because I mean, I know Josh, you were battling back there with me late, mid 10 pack, back there for most of the season. That's kind of where we were kind of drifting at for the most part. And then at the end, I mean, you just put yourself in the right spot and you just kept, getting that good enough finish to catapult you to the next round and hit your goals. So I mean, having that mindset of hitting those small goals, not like, hey, I want to win 15 races, or I want to enter the final round. Just like, hey, I just want to be in it. Okay, well, maybe I can be in it again. Have that type of mentality just to kind of chip away at it. So it's good to have.
Yeah, it was one of those really strange things that, like Brandon was talking about, it just clicked. The trucks just did not mesh with me very well, and then someone said a few things to me in one of the practice sessions, and they will go unnamed, and things just started to click. It also helps that the standard iRacing setups are unbelievably tight, and I like something I drive with the rear end, and all of the setups we started using were that. I was waiting for a phrasing there.
I said that's what she said.
Okay, that works too. But yeah, just the setups ultimately also played into my favor through the end of the season. But we're sitting here talking a lot about trucks, and we've been making Blake sit out there this whole time.
That's fine.
Yeah, who cares about that guy?
Yeah, screw that guy.
Screw him.
We're likely going to get to talk to him next week as well. So
Even though it looks like he's there. However, while we're waiting for him, even though I just saw his square go green.
I'm here.
Brandon, salute to you on the season championship, sir. It was great to have you there. It was fun. And I'm looking forward to Cup next year.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a blast.
honestly, this was, in my opinion, the best season of TNT we've had. It was a great time. Really enjoyed the battle we had consistently between the closed circuit and the Endeavor guys. So hopefully we can continue that Cup next year.
And then Blake came in there and just decided to
Rattle the
exert
cages.
dominance like he used to in practice.
Look, like I said on Facebook, we were all very impressed by it. Blake is so fast.
Well, look, the last two tracks that TNT ran were also tracks that Sportsman and Cup were running, so it was just an extra little track time,
I'm sure that's what it was.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to win. I'm just giving you shit, man. Like,
John, calm down.
It is pretty weird though that lined up like that, considering an admin was making that schedule at the time, and he knew the change was coming, so he could set it up like that.
And I'm just gonna expand upon my comment, John. We love running with you. You just have a tendency to end up in everyone else's shit.
Hey, look, John.
I have been trying to get Carl to stop using Flipper again.
Oh, I was just having fun with that. But listen, John has more TNT wins than Nick, so just saying. I mean, if he thinks that he's like the bottom of Endeavor, I mean, he's still better than the bottom of CCR. I hope Nick didn't watch that because he's very upset about that.
So, welcome, Blake, our 2021 Sportsman Series champion. So you went, man, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, welcome to the wonderful podcast. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about your wonderful run here that you put together for this season. Is there anything that happened throughout the season that you can point to as your favorite point of the race, a win or a battle or anything to that effect?
I don't know. Like Sportsman was a long season. It's hard to really remember back to anything that happened before the playoffs. Excuse me. This last race with Bassini was awesome. The last 20 laps to decide the title was a lot of fun. But yeah, earlier in the year, I'm looking back through the races, and it's like I don't really remember anything that happened back in March. I can't think back that way and remember what happened. I was just watching the incident clip from Myrtle Beach, trying to figure out how that race went, and then I saw that the couple accidents there at the bottom as I went from getting pole to finishing 19th, 3 laps down.
I mean, we could go back to the first 2 races of the season. Oh, wait, no.
Well, hey, at least I don't have to sit out the first 2 of next year yet. I mean, I guess there's always still that chance.
There's still a chance, and don't push your luck because you get 2 admins on here.
So here's the question: did you just get sneakier about dooring people this season, or was it just avoiding that?
It's avoiding it. I mean, I don't try to actively run people over. And I'm surprised we haven't actually talked about that race last year. It's never come up. Like we talked about in the post race and everything, and everyone had their
Well, we didn't have a
thoughts and
podcast.
opinions on it.
That horse has already been turned into glue.
And yeah,
I was gonna say, like
I-
we've it's kind of come up, but we've never actually like talked about it. But no, this year, I mean, I don't try to race like that.
We
So
didn't have like a sit and meet here in a podcast setting to kind of do that last year.
And also, Josh and Carl weren't as drunk most of the other times that you came in here.
That's true.
yeah,
and
normally I'm here like right at the start. I'm in here at 9:30. They're like 2 or 3 drinks in.
Oh,
Nick's not here to stir the pot too. So
Oh, right.
Speaking of which, I'll be back.
But no, I mean, I don't door people out of the way. I mean, if I get into someone 9 times out of 10, it's an accident, and the 10th time it's a championship deciding race. So
but yeah, I mean, you put together a hell of a season. I lose track of your win count. Just I know you probably don't, but I do. It's just like,
16.
Blake won again. Yeah, but Blake won again. I mean, you had your fan club out there, like, oh, let me guess, Blake won again out there. Was it forgot his name? He always comments, let me guess, Blake won.
Rick Warnke or someone like that. Yeah,
I actually miss those comments.
me too. Made me feel like I had a fan.
My fan was Mikey. So
My only fan.
Yeah, my only fan was Mikey Keller. He was out there always rooting for me.
I missed that guy. He was fun.
And hold on, Blake. I was your fan for most of the season.
You were.
I was cheering for you, and
I didn't see you in the comments section though.
Well, I couldn't because I was broadcasting.
No, Carl sneaks in his fandom for me in other ways with certain phrases he likes to use every week in the broadcast. I love it. I love it so much.
I've been consistent with it too every week.
Well, it's funny. Last week he hypes up my impeccable racecraft, and then the end of the race happens. So
yeah, well,
can't always be perfect, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that was a difficult race. I'm not a fan of the Rock. I mean I'm a fan of turns 1, 3, and 4. I'm not a fan of turn 2 out of the Rock. I don't know. It just doesn't suit the corner exit. Doesn't to me translate to what the track is. I think it's like an absolutely dog shit corner. But when turns 1, I get a great entry to it, and I always fuck up turn 2. But 3 and 4 were fine.
Well, Rockingham this year drove way different than it did last year. I think the packages were flipped. So this year it almost felt like Darlington, how you had to enter in the middle, kind of let it wash up high, and then cut down off the corner. Last year I felt like we wrapped the bottom both corners, and it was just a little tight off too. So
yeah, I just feel like no matter where I was doing, I was either giving up momentum on the corner entry and then or exit. I'd try to change it up, and either way, I just couldn't get both of the corners to sync up for me. I was good on time either way, or depending on the way I entered and exit. So it just sucked. So, but I like turns 3 and 4. So
those are the ones where you didn't have to worry about hitting the wall on exit.
Yeah, and the corners felt natural. Like it felt like they're supposed to be there. I think turn 2 just didn't feel like it was supposed to be there, like the exit. Like they're like, oh fuck it, we did a really great turn 1, 3, and 4. We'll fuck up turn 2.
Trying to figure out what track we're talking about.
The Rock.
Rockingham.
Oh God.
Yep. See, what's your take on that, Brandon? You raced it, or no, you didn't?
It's pretty good.
You practiced it.
It wasn't fun.
You didn't get to race it. You got to practice it.
I didn't practice either. I just stayed away from that track. I struggled last year, and I was like, "Oh, I have to skip it." Oh no!
Brandon missing that race is the reason I lost that race. So I'm pretty pissed off he had to miss that one. He's our fuel guy. He has all the fuel numbers and everything, and I got confused, thought I didn't have enough gas pit, and then it was just dicey coming back up from there. So
my worst 2 TNT finishes were the ones you ran in. So
I know. I don't think there's a coincidence. And your best fuel finish is the race I left early. So,
My truck wins the one you didn't run either.
oh shit.
You're bad luck.
So basically,
Maybe we should trade you somewhere to like CCR for Carl or something. I don't know.
Why the hell would you want me?
comic relief.
Oh, that's actually fair.
And
trade-
you are also our
Hon-
fuel number guy.
Honestly, me and John on the same team chat, I feel like would be hilarious.
We'd be trading one mid-pack driver for another, and you'd be teammates with ZD. So,
I mean, hold
So you
on.
guys
one
could
minute.
hash it out. You guys could hash it out immediately.
Saying that putting me and Brandon in the same category, that's a little bit of a stretch, but
It also brought a smile to your face.
I appreciate the compliment, but it is not accurate. Maybe like a trade for well, he's taking a break. Like if you wanted to trade Johnny to CCR.
yeah, no. We might have enough Long Island drivers for a strictly Long Island team here pretty soon. We got 5 of us.
Which is why I'm not even going to bother asking you guys my question of the night.
Yeah, I mean, we can cover that at the end.
Oh yeah, I think there's one correct answer here, so we'll leave everyone in suspense.
What'd you guys think of the Vegas race though, the Sportsman finale? Because I don't know if I like that race or not.
I will be the first to say, if I was going into an open setup official with that setup, you better believe that's the setup I want out there. But with everybody having it, I wasn't a huge fan.
My issue, well, okay, so as soon as the Daytona road course was over and I pulled back even with Piscini, I actually had off of work the next day, so I immediately went to town trying to work on Vegas. And I knew right away we were in a box, and I hate this box. So the strategy box we were put in, where we had 5 fuel stops with 3 sets of tires, I think that's kind of ridiculous. So hopefully that's something we're not doing next season. Because to me, it felt like that turned the race into like a gamble, into a lottery. Because earlier this year in the Cup Series, I hit pit road on Darlington. Caution came out, and I was in control of that race. And then from there, it was just stuck in the midfield. And having a championship deciding race with that same type of premise to me just seemed a little ridiculous. And then just the driving too, like the way the trucks raced, you couldn't make a pass on the bottom, which just seems kind of weird for an intermediate. It was strange.
That is the one thing I will say that felt weird, especially at Vegas. Vegas is one of those tracks that in a stock car you really should have been able to make both lines work.
Absolutely. I mean, it was strange how the bottom couldn't.
Yep,
We lost you.
You got me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was strange how the bottom lane couldn't make any ground on the middle. In the middle, you had to like pinch the low line because somehow you would also still get momentum like you would running the wall if you were running like one lane off the bottom. So it didn't make any sense to me at all. So I knew, okay, you don't want to be on the bottom. Adam taught me that in the start of the race. So
No, I was in the middle of the race. That was
It was Brian.
initially.
Yeah, Brian. And from a broadcast perspective. So first of all, I want to point out, like Justin said, that having to make more fuel stops when you have tires available is the dumbest thing.
It is.
From a broadcaster perspective, I'm going to disagree with that respectfully. Just because it made it interesting while I was calling it, I'm not out there, so I can't comment on that.
It's one thing if the strategy race turns out that way naturally, like if we had 100% fuel and 3 sets of tires and it turned into that type of race, fine. But to put us in that box from the start is just, it's stupid. Like, why not? If we're going to preach tire saving so much, why not give us 100% gas and give us a 40 lap tire run and see if it matters?
I actually think 100% fuel is a great idea in general. I think it worked out well in TNT this year. Even though some of my teammates who are now saying disagreed with that at the time.
God, no, because I actually had to drive. I had to drive conservative, and no, I don't want to.
No, but well, that's why you got beat at Atlanta.
I'm aware. That
And Nashville
doesn't want me to have you guys.
Well, he got beat at Nashville because he spun.
Yeah,
Because he,
I got beat at Nashville because of my own incompetence and not
um,
taking full fuel.
but
But
no,
yeah,
but back to the truck race, it was absolutely infuriating. Like it seemed like, if guys were on equal tires, like it's like, okay, like here's someone that's faster, like we're about to have a battle, and then like we saw it over and over with you, Blake. We saw it with Piscini at the end. It's like there was no battle. It just the driver on the bottom, the driver in front could just hang out in the middle, one lane up, and then the driver on the bottom like could not get anything going,
Yeah.
which at times was fun, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating being a part of it. Early in the race, you couldn't do anything on the bottom. Late in the race, I was obviously happy that I was able to, give Bassini the bottom because I knew he couldn't get it done. Unless my concern is when Gael and Joe were up there, whether or not they were going to push him by me on the bottom. And then when Joe almost made it 3 wide that one lap, I thought I went too high and Bassini was going to be able to clear me. And if he did, it was over. Like that was ball game. So it was all things considered, like, I don't know. Vegas is usually a fun track, but probably like the absolute worst one to have the title fight be decided at.
Well, and also it would have been game over more than likely if that pit stop strategy for him had worked out and you had not gotten on your brakes so
Well,
quickly.
okay, so like that one, like I knew as soon as I saw Ed and Ross rolling up the inside, I'm like, great, he's gonna slow down, hit pit road, I'm gonna be stuck. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to slow down and dive in. And luckily Joe was behind him and he had to call it out, but I was ready for it if he didn't.
I genuinely think that was a championship winning move right there. I mean you're so close that I think one lap may have made a difference, maybe not, but man, that was such a smooth move right there. I
Yeah.
was blown. Like I didn't when I was calling the race, I didn't realize that's what happened. I thought he was following you in, but it was when you told me after, like that just blew me away.
Yeah, like I kind of figured that's what was going to happen. We were in the fuel window. Why wouldn't you not try to pit when the guy you're fighting is now trapped on the high side? And if I would have cycled in behind him, there's no way I would have been able to get to his outside because he would have held me off. So I had to hit pit road first, get off first, and yeah, that was definitely the move there. It worked. I mean, last year you almost saw it. You almost saw Darlington last year get one on a 2 tire stop. So it's 2 years in a row. It's come down to the last pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about running side by side, you were getting like a hell of a run on the inside, and thanks to Gael being behind me, he was able to give me the launch off the corner. And then, I don't know, how it played out between you and Piscini at the end. I was too far back in the nosebleed section at that point, due to my own incompetence, to be able to see that one. But was he having help on the outside line, pushing him into the corner, or was
Well,
it
no,
straight side by side?
he was on the bottom, and none of us really had help. I don't even remember how he ended up losing his advantage on the bottom, and we ended up going single file. I don't know if he just had a bad corner or if when Joe peaked 3 wide, if that's what made him slip up, and I was able to pull ahead. I honestly don't remember how that worked out like that, but no, none of us really had help.
Yeah, I got you because I could feel the momentum whenever Gaio would really get close to me to help kind of push me ahead of you when we were battling for like probably about 10 or so laps side by side there. And then, I felt that, that was the only reason why we were still staying side by side and you didn't really kind of pull on that corner exit on me.
Even in practice, I ran on Justin Rodden's outside for a little while, and that's when I figured out, okay, the top's where we want to be because we were side by side the whole time, and he couldn't make the bottom work and get clear of me, and I likewise couldn't clear him on the top. So I'm like, okay, but I kept having the advantage coming off turn 4 to the finish line. I was always ahead, so I knew right then, like I have to be on the top at the end of the race if that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, I had a blast, but I would like to, where we would have to lift going in the corners to kind of make the corners work versus, being a super speedway until the last like 5 laps of the run where it kind of
The
started
only
to push.
The only race that was as frustrating to be a part of was the Legend Fun race we did at Bristol, where you also couldn't pass and you were just running in a big pack. Like that was the only other race I've done where that's been the case. It was just frustrating. I mean, you should be able to make a pass on an intermediate, and you absolutely couldn't.
Yeah, it was that
Wake
was
up,
my
Carl.
biggest complaint.
It's been a long day. I had a I think I may have mentioned that I've had this problem before, but one of our dogs pooped in the house early this morning, and then the other dog ate it and then vomited it up.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's the thing, and literally the smell woke me up.
The smell of vomited feces.
Yep, at 5 a.m. that got me up, and then a work day, and here I am.
I understand. Continue yawning. You're fine.
Do you know who doesn't do that? Cats.
My cat vomits a good bit, but not usually feces.
But see,
exactly.
I have cats and dogs, and my dogs eat the cat shit, so it's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, so it's garnished with a little bit of litter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my dogs are awesome. Yeah.
We put our cat's litter box in a closet, and then I put a dog door, I guess a cat door, in the door itself, so they can go in. Dogs can't get in.
I have all sizes of dogs. They would squeeze their way in.
Oh yeah,
I got tiny middle ones, and then a husky.
I think your dogs are actually cats. Dogs shouldn't be able to fit in cat doors.
If it's a cat size, maybe a little dude might not be able to. He's kind of put on some weight since we got him. But yeah, my old guy Teddy, he's a small little Jack Russell. He could probably fit into it depending on what size. But yeah, the other one's probably not as much. They would try though. They'd try, get their dessert.
Oh, you know what? I totally
the truffles.
I'm looking through the Sportsman series while you guys were talking about that. I totally forgot I pushed Nick to a win at Talladega.
Nick is unfortunately he does like to lord over that he has a Sportsman win over Carl and I.
He's the only I was about to say he's the only CCR drivers, but no, we have Piscini and Hanner, but he's the only non CCR alien who has a win outside TNT. So but he still doesn't have a TNT win. He does not have a TNT win, so I'm going to lord that over him.
He also is the only one to have been booted or parked from a TNT race.
The only CCR driver, yes, that's absolutely correct.
I still feel a little bit bad about that one.
Nah.
Well, you almost booted me that same race, so and we deserved it, honestly. We were driving like shit, so.
Which one was that?
It was the race before I got my pedals, and then everything changed.
New Smyrna?
Yeah, I hate that track.
That was the one that Tim and I decided that you could go 20 laps over race distance on a set of tires and a tank. Which is part of the reason why I kind of like the 100% fuel. Because
yeah, I mean,
it really can throw that kind of strategy in there, and some of these short tracks, yeah, you can keep your track position, but you're going to be a half second slower than everybody else.
Yeah,
but something like North Wilkesboro, you may actually be able to defend it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Full tanks would be great. Hopefully we get them. I mean, I don't mind. Like even Cup, the 65%'s worked out pretty well. And I remember back before I left the admin team being pretty adamant that if we're going to increase the length of the intermediates, we need 4 sets of tires available during the race.
I'll agree with what Justin put in the comments that if you need 4, you need it to match the number of stops.
Yeah.
Granted, I enjoyed kind of the little bit of gamemanship this past Wednesday, but at the same time,
I messed up.
I could have lived with
Dre didn't want to listen to me when I said fuel only, and went ahead and gave me tires on that first.
I was actually wondering why you took tires at once.
And then once I came out and I took the lead, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna take the tires again. I'm gonna hang out with Blake up front for a little bit and race with him. And then I was riding behind him for a little bit, pushing him there up until that caution came out, and that kind of screwed us because I was trying to use Blake as a fuel saving, but also drafting partner, so we could actually like kind of pull away from everybody and get a huge distance. At least it would help me out.
Vegas was kind of weird. All right, so I did probably I checked this on VRS. I had 382 laps at Vegas between last week and the end of the Sportsman race on Wednesday night. So that was 260 laps before we even went green. And I know I did one full 120 lap AI race to get ready for it, just trying to figure out strategy and whatnot. So it's funny, like that much preparation went into a race where like the racing itself kind of sucked, but I had to figure out the strategies. I had to know what to do. Uh, and I figured out that if we were about 4 to 5 laps short on fuel throughout the race, to save 1 lap of fuel, you had to run 4 to 5 seconds off pace for 4 laps. So it was actually quicker to do a stop and go for a splash and go of fuel than it was to save that much gas sitting there lifting and running that far off the pace. So the 2 yellows really helped.
Yeah, I was upset with the one that came out in around 56, 57 when I was running behind you because I was planning on my next stop to be my full 100% run on the tires, and with that caution, it just kind of screwed everything and regrouped the whole entire field because I was trying to push you out as far as possible since I had 4 or 5 lap newer tires than you. I could I was able to can draft and save because I had a little bit fresher tires. And I was gonna be able to save my tires because every corner I was clutching going in and behind you.
So, I mean, as much as we want to sit and say that the racing wasn't all that good, I can honestly say that there were a lot of really fun moments for myself throughout the race. Didn't get to have as much fun as Blake did, but I got my fun on Vegas in the TNT race the previous week.
I think you and I had a close call in that race. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I cut you off or something.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I know. I
like,
topped
think
Adam.
What, Blake cutting someone off?
Hey,
No.
Well, at least when I do it, like I try to make sure like the guy isn't already alongside of me because that shit pisses me off. But Adam, I chopped off early in the race, but I got down there, so like if he wanted to stay on the throttle and bump me, whatever. I'm not going to spin out. But like, yeah, I can't stand when guys just, I'm going to move up the track. I'm already there. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
All right, so
soon as you dropped that nose underneath me going in, I don't remember which corner, either 1 or 3. I was like, all right, that's what he's doing. All right, I'm dooring it. I'm going to stay as close to his door on the inside as he can, and he's not going to have a great run out of any of the corners for the next few laps. And I was like, okay, he started to give me space. I'll give him some space now.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad, but like I knew that first lap you need to be on the bottom, so maybe I should have stayed on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, and then you kind of purposely, or not purposely, but unfortunately, my teammate was on the outside of me, giving me hell of a runs, and keeping me in front of you, clicking off some more lap lead.
I did have some like Vietnam flashbacks when you took the top and Gael lined up in front of me on one of those restarts. I was like, oh god, here we go.
The Rock.
Yeah. Well, luckily we didn't have a redo of that.
But yeah,
no, but I had a lot of fun with it because I got to make a few what I called my dumbass move of the nights, to where I ended up taking someone 3 wide going into turn 1 to where I actually entered off of the apron. And we kept it clean. There was a lot of fun battling in the mid pack after the first caution that it was basically side by side for the first 10 laps of that run. We had a lot of 3 wide. We closed it out with a 4-car battle that would have probably required the brown pants if it was me up there to wrap it up, but no, it wasn't the most fun out there in terms of being a driver, in all honesty, but the viewing was good.
I will say, like I love the truck, and I always have because usually it does put on the better, well not better, but like the closer racing. Because back when I started on iRacing, the Gen 6 car was on the 2014-15 package, so that would get spread out. And meanwhile, the truck you could actually run close together, and it was more close quarters. And I can't remember ever having a truck race on iRacing like the one we had at Vegas, where you could not make a pass in any lane. It was just even the entire time. So that was definitely strange. The only time I remember that ever happening.
Man. For me, the start of the race, I clipped or during qualifying, I clipped turn 4, and if you looked at our times, second or third through 17th, were a tenth off of each other. So I mean, that's how close qualifying was. So I started mid to late pack. So I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do fuel savings from the get go and try to make it eliminate a fuel stop, and just kind of go through that way until the cautions fail. But in that point, it's kind of like, all right, well, now that kind of threw that away because I found during AI testing I could stretch it the first run 24 and the next run 25 on a older set because you're running, a lot slower lap time, so you're able to kind of clutch it more and still get the same speeds basically. So that was kind of trying to do it that way and play a different fuel strategy race and not actually race. But then, you know, I didn't. I took tires on the first stop, so they kind of took everything out of the way. But overall, it was I think it was a fun race, so to speak. I mean, I had quite a few great battles. I just wish I wouldn't have been incompetent on that last pit stop. I lost some set using my, last run at that point. I was like, I tried to gain a little bit more, trying to go into pit road, a couple more seconds that I lost on the track, and bit me in the end by having a 40-second hold.
Yeah, pit road entries. I usually try to pick up a lot of time there. A lot of guys are really conservative hitting pit road, and I'm not. I'm usually like a mile or two over the speed limit past the cones. It's amazing I don't get more speeding penalties.
Yeah, the first 3 or 4 that we had that night, I was perfectly fine on, and I was actually a little bit under on that one. So I was like, well, I've been under on all these other ones, so let me just push it just a little bit, and then I came in way too hot, and then locked it up. And once you lock those tires up, there's no, coming back from that one. There's no slowing down; it just slides at that point. So, but I liked it. I don't know. Would you rather have been there or Homestead?
I feel like you could actually make moves at Homestead. So like this is strange. I would say Homestead because I feel like you could make passes and you wouldn't be side by side the whole time because Homestead usually is a 1-lane track. And that's honestly been one of the keys to me figuring that place out is like instead of running whatever line I feel best in, which is usually the high line, I actually have figured out, okay, you have to run a very particular line there. And now that I've done it, I've been better.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it may not have been the best closer that we've had, but I think it was acceptable, and it was a little more on the setup than it was the track selection.
I mean, really, the final round should have been Martinsville, Daytona Road Course, and Richmond. I mean, come on.
Oh, I'm sure you would have loved that.
Absolutely
but
not.
but honestly, I mean, it's hard to complain about a finish where the guys who are first and second in points are battling it out so that whoever wins between them wins the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't script it any better than that.
Yeah,
and I was telling Brandon, good thing we have fast repairs, or else Justin would have made it a boring race on lap 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
Justin.
I mean, you have to look at it. That was a non-scripted race, whereas NASCAR, all 4 people were in the top 4 throughout the whole entire race. I'm like, oh, that's coinky-dink, So
that's basically no. Everyone was told, you wreck them, you're fined.
Yeah, because I believe Blaney had a faster car than most, and he near the end, I think with like 3 laps to go, he said, "Screw it, I'm passing Chase," and passed him for 4th. he was waiting idly by and like, okay, I don't want to interrupt this battle here. We gotta make it look like they're the best. So yeah, I think it was a little bit we bit scripted there on that championship race. It kind of looked a little skewed. Because Denny was struggling most of the race, but everybody else was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna, oh, he got by him, and now he's up in the top 4." So, but no, you guys did a hell of a job there, putting yourself both in the right place at the right time. I wish I could have, seen it firsthand or broadcasted it like Carl was able to, get to see that firsthand of, you make that miraculous dive in right there and kind of put yourself in the race-winning move, maybe.
Yeah, I really do think that's what did it. I feel like if I waited one more lap, there would have been no way. I wouldn't have been able to pass him. Even earlier in the race, I could only catch up to him, and then it was pretty hard to get around him.
I would argue that after you chop my nose off, I'll admit that I was a little bit annoyed by it, to where when Joe caught me, it was just like, no, go ahead. I want to see if there's anything that happens from last year. And then it didn't happen, and you two basically just linked up and then ended up catching Piscini. I was just like, well, that was probably not the right move as a teammate, but meh. Roll the dice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all worked out. So
All right, so Brandon, so whenever you were going through it, what was your mindset trying to compete? Because I mean, you're still in the top 6. You're going through this race, like, you're running up front. I think at one point you're, I think in that round mid race, you were right around 6th or so. You were up there battling. How was your race overall?
Well, I don't know. I was off in practice. Like I ran two full tire set, like so two runs with one tire set, basically the full run. And my tires were like way worse than Blake's. I'm like, I don't know how I'm fucking up the easiest track we ran at, but I'm doing it. So I was pretty worried. Then somehow I qualified second, and going to 3 and 4 was the recipient of the first car to hit Justin. So didn't realize I was as damaged as I was, but I had engine damage. I must have a bunch of aero, so I didn't take my fast repair. I just took the optional, and we went green, and I was off the pace drastically. I was 25th entire run, so that would have went green the whole way. I would have probably left the race. But I got that caution, got the fast repair, and then I was up there fighting with Piscini and Joe, and it was real tight. Like Joe was on my door, and I was on Piscini's bumper. So it was super tight, and like I just must have turned in the second too late and nicked the wall, and it just sucked me up and went from like 5th to 18th. So I had to fight back up, and was able to get to 9th, but just it was the race wasn't that fun to begin with the package where you kind of just wide open the entire time, and then all the issues I had. It was kind of just a boring race that I was ready for it to be over. I saw Justin. I tried to stay in front of Josh as much as I could, try to beat him to get third. And then, I got in that wall there. It's like, oh, that's over. And then I got in that last round pits, and Josh started pulling away. So I knew I couldn't get to him. I was slowly catching Justin, I was hoping I could at least battle him for sole position of 4th. But I just wasn't quick enough, and Cody lost to him by probably less than a tire. So it was just kind of just a boring race. I'm glad it's over.
So we got a question out there from good old Larry O'Patrick. He says, what is the outlook heading into next year's Cup season? What will it take for you to beat the wonderful alien next to you?
Now you can tell Larry joined late.
Yeah.
It's on me?
Yeah.
Um.
Now Blake's in here, so you can talk trash to him. So that, before you were talking,
Yes.
he wasn't actually
Let's do
here
it.
to actually, listen and give feedback.
Well, as we learned earlier, I'm just a mid-pack car, so probably nothing. But I don't know. The next gen, if it's, like I said, I'm hoping that closes the gap a little bit. There's been a couple races here where I felt competitive with him and Justin and all the top guys. And just haven't been able to do anything with it. I guess was that Atlanta, I think, or Vegas in the Cup Series when it was Greg, me, and him battling for the lead at the end there. That's the best I've probably felt in a race. Charlotte, I maybe had something for him. I was quick at Charlotte. I'm always quick at Charlotte and always find a wreck. That happened again. So the big thing is consistency. I showed speed at a lot of these tracks, and then just I find a way to fuck it up. So just gotta be way more consistent. And then I'm still like a second, probably slower on pit road total than those guys. So figuring that out as well will be the biggest challenges.
I'll tell you, the CCR strategy in general is just going to be, we're going to rotate each week as to who's going to wreck him. And we'll just take turns wrecking him. It's a long season. We can each have we can afford one incident point every a few races. We'll
and
just
then you
rotate wrecking him.
Yeah, and
Well,
then you just drop them you'll have them drop by the next time it's you up next.
Yeah.
You got to be near
Oh.
me first.
I mean,
Look, you have to lap us at some
That's
point.
what I'm about to say. You have to lap them, go around them at some point. Just
No,
like,
I really do think the next gen car is gonna, especially like even like Dover and Darlington, even like in like when it first released, you were running flat out. So I really think it's gonna close up the field a lot.
Larry has another question. Question for Blake. What will it take to take the primary sponsorship spot and put my beautiful face on your hood?
If you pay and have the paint scheme made, I will run it.
Listen, Larry, if you'll pay, I'll make the paint scheme. I'll actually see if Pacini will work with me on it.
I want a good paint, so probably like Michael Stroll.
Ooh,
damn.
them's fighting words.
I'm kidding, Carl. Damn.
That bromance is gone.
No, I mean,
You
no,
just eliminated his bromance.
It hurt because it's mostly true.
The bromance is gone.
Larry said it's happening. All right, done.
Well, if
we
anyone
lost him
wants
again.
to, I know I have like this button map to push to talk, so sometimes I like slip off of it. But if anyone wants to look like me in the Xfinity series, my 2 fuel schemes are on trading paints.
Oh, nice.
Or what you could do is just pass a photo of Larry O'Patrick around, and it'll end up on the bed of a lot of the trucks come next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for the new trucks, by the way. That's going to be sick. Gonna make my transition over to all Ford next year.
What? This guy over here, your teammate loves the Tundra. I thought he was gonna go with the Tundra.
Oh yeah, that ain't happening. I'll be probably the lone Chevy there in the Endeavor stable next year.
Well,
I've always switched to Ford just because Carl was doing paint schemes for the Ford.
Well, so this is how it worked out. So I'm a Chevy guy, and Chris is a Ford guy. So when we first started with iRacing, I told him, I said, all right, here's what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna work with you here. Like, we'll do Fords for the trucks, but I want to do Chevys for the Cup cars. And then so like him and I started with the trucks. We're both racing Fords. And then, we start getting into the Cup races, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm about to buy my Chevy car here. And he said, oh, I already bought a Ford. I thought that's what we were running. I'm like, you asshole. So we're running Fords. That's why we're running Fords.
I tell you
It's
what,
funny because all my favorite drivers in NASCAR run Chevys, but I own a Ford. So it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm not loyal, I guess.
I've had both. And actually, the car I hate that I gave up so my wife could be happy was her Fiesta ST.
That's what I have.
I am so sad that I gave that up, but
Yeah, it's a fun car.
it's fun and cheap, and God, can you throw that thing around?
oh man,
And now I just have my Chevy Spark,
and
which
if
is
you guys,
also actually kind of a blast to throw around.
if you guys looked at the Monday night race in fuel, there wasn't a Ford in the top 13. It was all Chevys and Toyotas. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I was like, all right, let's see. Chevy, Toyota, Chevy. Oh, look,
Well,
there's
honestly,
a
I
Ford
think
way back there.
the Xfinity Ford definitely looks like the worst Xfinity car. The Super and the Chevy look great. The Ford just doesn't look quite right. But the new next gen Mustang looks phenomenal, and the new F-150 that they're going to be coming out with looks amazing too. So
I love everything about the Mustang and the Cup, the next gen. But
I think
the
taillights.
the vents kill me. It makes it so difficult to really do a great like hood scheme, and I don't know. I'm hoping it'll like just come to me. But every time I try to do one, it's like I have to make my logos like really tiny, and
Like,
I'm not a
I
huge
think
fan
out of
it.
the 3 cars that the Cup Series has, I think the Ford rear end actually almost looks like the actual production. The way they made the rear end, at least in iRacing, the 3D effect actually makes it look like those are actually tail lights, whereas the Camaro and the Camry both just look like they're sticker lights. So I really commend Ford for in iRacing the way they made their 3D graphics, so to speak, to make it actually look like a rear end off of the Ford Mustang there. But I think the Camaro and the Mustang are way more appealing than the Camry once again. I think the Camry is still lacking because it's a Camry. But the Supra's real nice, and it's got a different engine sound than the Mustang.
Oh god, it's actually kind of annoying.
I can't stand the Tundra sound or the Supra sound.
Like I went from last year when I was racing IVRL, I was racing the Mustang, and then I switched over to the Supra, and I was like, this engine is way different. What the hell's going on with it? It's a way different sound.
I can't remember. Is it because it's the flat plane crank, whereas everything else is cross plane?
No, it's just a different exhaust sound for that one. They're all the same engines basically, and they just have a different exhaust.
So I have to ask this really dumb question.
Oh boy.
Well, no, we've got Larry O'Patrick out there commenting. I've heard way too many rumblings about Dodge joining next year. Is that actually happening?
So Steve,
Lots of rumors.
Steve said out of everybody, he can't comment on if they are or are not. Steve Phelps, I believe, he came on during the championship, before the championship race or something like that, during some of the talks, and he said, they would be happy to have a fourth manufacturer, and the only one he brought up, the reporters did not bring it up. He brought it up and saying that he can't comment if Dodge is coming in or not. So he didn't bring up any other manufacturers during that broadcast.
I think because these rumors have been going around for a long time that Dodge might come back, but I think what's giving them a little bit of credence right now is that there's the rumors going around with Stewart Haas Racing right now, and the fact that I can't remember the details, but one of his other teams has like non-NASCAR teams has like a couple of guys that are like have always run Dodge, so there's like that connection there. It's like, well, I mean, it wouldn't be unprecedented for you look at Chip Ganassi, he's run different manufacturers and different.
Well, that'd be like three though. That he'll move to three
Yeah.
different ones at that point.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I think Stewart Haas wants to be like the premier team for whatever manufacturer they're with, and I don't know that they're 100% getting that with Ford. I mean,
if you were to Penske's the premier Ford team,
I think if you were to rank them, I'd still put SHR at the top, but it's not probably as like delineated as much as he would probably want. I mean, you look at
this past season, you'd have to say,
this season.
This season
is Penske.
This season, Stewart Haas was awful. I mean, they were so bad.
Well, Stewart Haas has always been kind of awful outside of Harvick. I mean, even when Harvick was winning all those races, what were the other three cars doing? They weren't.
That's a good point. I mean, even when when you get Tony Stewart driving a car and he can't win in it consistently, you got Kurt Busch, not putting together good races in those cars. I mean, Kevin Harvick's the only one that's really done super well in those things.
I thought maybe with Brad's move over to Roush to RFK, that they might be the one that would be propelling into the Dodge world because he won his championship in a Dodge.
Oh, I mean, I feel there's no chance Roush is switching away from Ford. I mean, Roush has had such a huge connection to Ford for so long. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I might have egg on my face in a few weeks, but
no, just rumors.
Yeah, no, but I think that might be what actually propels SHR to do something. I mean, it's like, look, you're putting in a ton of investment into Roush, which has not been competitive in years. You're putting in a ton of investment into Penske, which is now become a better team than us, at least this past season. Like, we don't want to be the third team, so I could see it.
I don't make a little bit of sense with Rick Ware joining. Get more than one team rather than Dodge. So not just one team out there. So it makes a little bit more sense there because that connection makes no sense whatsoever.
I mean, if you look at it though, yeah, like you said, you push him over there. That means Dodge is giving them 100% funding, whereas right now Ford's splitting between three different main camps, and then you got the outliers that are running Fords as well. But so by them branching over, Dodge would be basically giving them 100% funding and backing, and especially it'll be their first year in this new car. The first year is them coming back in the sport. They want to make a statement, and the funding would be there.
They'd be the same as Gibbs and Toyota.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
They're the main, they're the only one there. It's working for them, so maybe it's what Dodge needs.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, Toyota's really the only one that has had this kind of relationship. You look at Chevy spread across multiple teams that are all demanding, like, we should be the number one, and Ford's the same way. I mean, Toyota, it's very clear what the premier team is. Dodge has got an opportunity. I mean, Toyota entered with a lot of, look, there was a lot of resistance to Toyota entering to begin with, and I mean,
Damn
now
Yoders, man.
I was one of them, and I still am. Like, not really, but kind of. I mean, what they were able to put together with Joe Gibbs. I mean, I absolutely think that another manufacturer coming in and picking a team to make their premier team could have similar results.
Especially a team that's already established, like Stuart Haas.
Yep.
They already have the name. They've already had the drivers. They have Kevin as their nameplate.
Yep.
So it makes sense. It'd be sweet to see.
Who does Leah run for in the drag racing? Because that's his girlfriend, right? Because I know he just created a whole entire like drag team for her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she runs.
Leah, I think, does run Dodge.
It'd be cool to see. It'd be sweet to see Dodge back in there and another manufacturer in the mix.
Honestly, I think it would be the best move for Dodge because they're trying to tie their entire brand around their performance vehicles, and you look at the Charger, the Challenger, and all of these kinds of things. You gotta run one to where you can have the win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
I just want to see the TRX truck in the Camping World Series.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be great to see a fourth manufacturer come in, no matter who team it takes, because I mean that's more funding into the series, and if they can spread the love between the Cup, the Xfinity, and the Truck Series as well, and kind of branch it off, which I really don't see in the Xfinity Series, because I mean you got Ford, and Ford's got what, one maybe two cars out there fielding right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that might change with Brad. I know he wants to bring Roush back into the trucks or to the trucks, so he might get them more in the other two series. Hopefully.
But all right, I kind of see take the tone of the room kind of dwindling down. Everybody's
Well, we moved away from like the league stuff to real NASCAR stuff. So.
All right.
Which is fun to talk about, but
all right. So we'll bring it back to the infighting. But I'm also going to start with Brandon because we didn't ask him yet.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, deep dish or New York style pizza?
What exactly is New York style? I'm from the Midwest, so we have
all right
Midwestern pizza.
We'll let our current New York resident explain.
I don't even know where to start. What
I know the Brooklyn style from Domino's.
What do you mean
count?
you don't know what a New York?
All right. So can you fold it in half without the sauce squeezing out like a toothpaste tube? Like that's the big difference to me.
New York is like big slices. It's thin. You fold it. It's delicious.
It's thin, but not thin like a cracker, like California.
No,
it's not California pizza. No, there's no argument there.
It's like when people talk about pizza. Generally, you say pizza, you think of New York style pizza.
All right,
like that is.
As a Midwesterner, I will give you the best comparison that I could probably give you, though I'm gonna get yelled at. Sbarro's from the mall.
I also don't have that.
Really?
I enjoy deep dish, but if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the New York style.
I think the problem is like everyone who doesn't live in the Northeast, specifically New York and Long Island, like the New York style everywhere else, like isn't what it is up here. So I think I'm a little biased.
To
To be fair, I would still choose the garbage imitation stuff over deep dish.
Because
mean,
deep dish,
It's not pizza. It's not pizza.
I mean,
it's a pasta dish.
if you look at the deep dishes in any other places, I mean, the only place that you'll come close to it is maybe like the Uno's, like, you know, Chicago Uno style pizzeria that tries to make imitation version. Like, you don't get the true deep dish unless you're in Chicago. You know,
No,
everything
Chicago does a
or
decent
you
job.
ship some Illuminatis
Or
to
you
some
ship it.
random New Yorker's house, so all of his neighbors have to see it and ultimately try to wreck him and just ostracize him because that's what he has sitting on his porch waiting for him.
Look, New York style pizza, and pizza everywhere, honestly, except for deep dish, it's about balance and it's about restraint. And Chicago lacks both of those things. You end up with something that is super heavy on the sauce or super heavy on cheese or both, and then like it's greasy and no, it's garbage. It's garbage.
For
Garbage.
life.
Garbage.
It's delicious.
For
Yeah,
life.
I enjoy deep dish. I'm just saying, if I had
No.
like every day, I'd probably choose New York style.
Like you
Nope.
have to be hungry though to go to Illuminati's. If you're just like just somewhat hungry, yeah, it's going to waste because you're like, all right, well, I barely ate a quarter piece, I'm full. So yeah,
Blake,
that's-
Blake, I'm glad you have good taste.
All right. If I'm again, I even said this morning in the CCR chat. I love both of them.
You can't.
Yes, you can.
I will say,
Because
I
I'm
don't think,
from
That is what you can.
Ohio. I'm
Yeah,
literally
exactly.
like in between both of them.
I don't
Do
even
I
think,
love going? Did I used to love when my job would send me to New York City and I'd be staying in the fashion district and literally there was a pizza place right by my hotel to where I could go buy a $2.50 slice and sit there and just mow it as I'm walking back to my hotel? Yes.
Yeah.
When I was always in Chicago, and me and my friends on a Saturday night would swing by Chai Pie and grab a pizza as we're walking back drunk. Yes.
Did you eat that while you were walking down the street as well, or?
Oh, we were drunk. We didn't care.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Would you eat a Chicago style deep dish pizza on the podcast right now?
Do you want me to go up and get my leftover Illuminatis?
I was just trying to find out how drunk you are.
guys, if you guys are gonna go grab it, I'll be I'm coming.
now I want some pizza.
Yeah, no, I have yet to get my allotment of Illuminatis for the year to keep in my freezer. But
Yeah.
I finished off last year's today
Speaking
of this conversation.
Speaking of good regional foods, Blake, you came to Charlotte earlier this year. If you ever make a trip like that again, I may have to bribe you to bring me some bagels down. Because I was
the place right outside my apartment complex. You buy a dozen, you get a free dozen. So I can bring a lot down.
Oh, I honestly, you can put those bagels in a freezer and then reheat them, and they are still better than the garbage you get fresh down here.
I'll trade you for some barbecue down there.
Oh, I can do that. We got some good barbecue down here.
Which type of barbecue do you like, though?
Me?
Carolina.
Well, which Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay, so
mustard or ketchup or vinegar?
It's the vinegar one where like they don't sauce it up.
See,
you add your own.
South Carolina, we're mustard people, but also, I mean, I like the vinegar too. Vinegar is pretty good.
There is a place up here that does like Memphis style where it's all sauced up and it's really good.
That's ketchup based, isn't it? I think it's the red sauce.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Am I weird in that I don't like any kind of sauce with my barbecue because if it's good barbecue, it should just be good without it.
See, then that's where the vinegar-based sauce is really good because if you're doing it right, you're only doing a little bit of it. It's not a whole lot of it. And I mean, the mustard-based stuff's really good. I love it because I've been around it all my life. I love the stuff.
Honestly, if I had to have anything, yes, the mustard based is proper because I'm weird. I like mustard too.
I like how
All right,
Justin just roasted his place of employment.
I don't know if we should be surprised by that or just.
Hey, you should send a DHL. They're even better than USPS.
Yeah, DHL, you might just not get it. Or your neighbor might get it.
You might get one of the 12 bagels arrived.
The driver ate the rest.
I was telling Carl in a side conversation earlier, when I moved up here, I hated bagels. Now I love them. I don't know what I'm going to do if I ever have to move off this place.
Yeah.
I will save a lot of money because rent up here is just absolutely stupid, but the bagels I'll miss, the pizza I'll miss.
For real, I liked bagels down here until I tried them up in New Jersey and New York. Like
They just hit different.
It's like, and now they're down here. It's like they're like chewy and just they're awful. They're awful.
Do you know what the difference is?
It has the water.
This is gonna sound absolutely horrible. New York has a proper Jewish population.
Well, yeah. It's also why I think every time I've had rye bread up there, it's been better.
It's not even just bagels with cream cheese. It's also like the egg sandwiches that you get on bagels, like sausage, egg and cheese, bacon, egg and cheese.
I was messaging you earlier. I mean, like the Taylor ham. Like I'd never heard of Taylor ham before.
I haven't even tried that yet.
And some people call it pork roll. But
there you go.
I've been repeatedly told that it is actually Taylor ham. It's a North Jersey versus South Jersey thing. But it's basically a fake ham product. And they're not legally allowed to call it ham. And but it's good. They fry it up. They throw it with some eggs sometimes and some cheese, and apparently it's a big thing out there with ketchup as well. And it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's the order. You got to get the egg sandwiches, salt, pepper, ketchup. I mean, that's just the classic.
Yep. It blew my mind the first time I heard it. I'm like, you're eating ketchup on a breakfast sandwich? And it's like, oh, I get it. I get it. This is pretty good.
Well, you can ask my dad what he used to put on sausage biscuits when I was growing up.
So for me, sausage biscuits were always mustard. It was always mustard on sausage biscuits.
That's worse than what I did, for sure.
Oh my God, was it mayo?
No.
Oh God, thank you.
It's a grape jelly.
Huh.
Well, because like you
well,
could put
I
that,
would honestly try that.
I could see that.
You would do it on a biscuit with no meat, right? So like, why not do it with one that has it? It was good.
Well, and also I've used grape jelly in like a lot of like savory, like when I make like
meatballs.
Meatballs. Yep, I do grape jelly in those, and it's awesome. Well, that's our food conversation.
Yep. I was gonna say we're gonna have plenty of
it's almost 10:30, and
I think I'm gonna go to cookout after this.
Oh, dude,
go to Five Guys.
Five Guys is probably closed by now.
Five Guys has been closed for an hour and a half in my area.
I hate the North, man. No Bojangles, no cookout. It sucks up here.
All right, so Blake, I'm going to probably incriminate myself. Your dad just called out that you used to put mayo and ketchup on hot dogs.
I did, yeah.
What? Hold on, man. If you're putting mayo on it,
I am nearly 37, and that is my condiment of choice.
Mayo is? Well, that's a great
mayo
question.
And ketchup right there. That is 100% my.
But you spread the mayo on the buns first, and you put ketchup on top of the hot dog. That's the way it goes.
What mayo? There's one correct answer. There is one correct answer for mayo.
Hellman's.
Oh, nope.
Fuck that.
Nope.
No.
It's Duke's. It's Duke's. You gotta do
Duke's 100%.
I get the Target brand. So
dude, I was angry 3 years in Hawaii with no Dukes. 3 years in Hawaii, I was so pissed off. Nobody had Dukes whatsoever. I had to eat Hellman's crap for 3 years. It was horrible.
I get that Market Pantry from Target.
All right. Hold on. Brandon, have you ever seen Dukes in Ohio?
No. No, I'm from South Coast. I'm even farther. No,
that does not come here.
Well, order it and it was change your life.
It's superior.
It will change your life. Even in like deviled eggs, change your life.
Yep.
Well, does Brandon even know what cheerwine is?
I've heard of it, never had it.
Oh, it's so good.
There's like
Well,
almost like everything you guys are talking about. I have no idea what the hell you guys going on.
I might get a cheerwine float at Cookout.
I used to like Big Red, but that stuff doesn't really exist anymore.
It does here.
Ah, lucky.
He gets
All
the
right.
obscure stuff that everybody gets, that nobody ever wants. I guess like when
Yeah.
they ship the non-winners of the playoffs and all that good stuff crap overseas.
Yeah, that Yingling or whatever you guys are always drinking on everybody's cars. Never even had it. Never seen it. None.
It barely made it to like my area within the past 2 years, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's average, but for the price I pay for it, there's better.
All
They'll
right.
have the conversations in Fuel Discord about all these restaurants. Like, yeah, I've heard like 2 of those. So
You guys doing a podcast next week? Well, no, right? Because it's Thanksgiving.
No, it'll be the week following.
So
It'll
when
Well,
are
just
we
no, so
wrapping
I
up,
said
random conversation.
I said
When
if
are we
Blake
wrapping up
win,
the Cup season?
I said if Blake wins, then no, we're not doing a podcast. If Blake doesn't win, we'll do a podcast with a real winner.
Well, because if I somehow end up not winning, like we're gonna have to explain how that happened. I think I got 31
Yeah.
points.
I got you. Don't worry.
If I show up,
Blake, the penalties are still incoming. You just haven't heard
okay.
about them yet.
well, I mean, have we posted the incident points from Rockingham? I need to know if I'm qualifying or not.
I don't think we have.
We have
No, I don't
two.
think
We
so.
have 2 admins here.
Yeah, we should probably check on that. Yeah.
But
yeah, just don't qualify to be safe.
Yeah. I think, honestly.
I don't plan on qualifying for any race in the off season, so we'll see how that goes.
So-
Never mind.
So,
I have
yeah.
my comments for that, but we'll save it for another day.
I think we might squeeze one more podcast out for the year. It'll be more of a shits and giggles, have fun, bring on a shit ton of people, have a really raging party here. Maybe we can fill up, see how many squares can we fit in this Discord box here.
I just
Yeah.
want to
Quite a
ask real
few.
quick, how feasible is it for everyone who has VR to do what Josh does for the broadcast?
Pretty feasible.
So the only thing that I will tell you in that process is it's not very intensive, but it did cause a few more hiccups than I've ever experienced throughout the course of the race on Wednesday.
I think you have to ask yourself, can your computer handle running Martinsville at night in VR? And if it can't, you probably shouldn't stream.
That was a settings issue. I left my daytime settings on that I played with the day before, and then literally as soon as the lights came on, my frames went to 35, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's
Is any
not
track at
bad.
nighttime.
It's not bad other than you're killing your upload speed at the same time.
And Josh has a 1 gig, so he's like, cool, I got this.
But I also had an incident to where entering turn 3, my VR was just like, no, you're going to run at 5 frames a second. Fuck you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were having any issues with it.
So maybe the answer is not do that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I honestly
I've been
think
trying to find the right settings for it.
I think if we bypassed OBS, I think it would be faster. But OBS is what removes the title bar and all that. So that's something to research maybe for next season. And because I think VR view's been cool as hell.
Yeah, John, you should never do that. Never. You blink way too much, man.
It's that Cox internet he has.
I was going to say, my AT&T fiber is fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, we like to have this extra view, and it's kind of neat. Like when Carl did the, hey, let's see what Josh looks like trying to fuck up a pit stop.
Only pit stop I didn't fuck up that entire race.
I really, I have been trying the entire time we've been doing this to catch him doing a pit stop so I could hopefully see him screw it up so I could rip on him. And the one time I focus on him, he's like, oh, I'm going to do a good pit stop here. And it was just very anticlimactic.
Only one of the night that I did not slide through my box and have to throw it into reverse for a fraction of a second. Only one.
Alrighty. Well, we'll wrap this one up, and then 2 Fridays from now, maybe we'll get together, shoot the shit with a lot more people, see how many squares we can actually fill up here in this Discord box.
Let's just get everyone here.
And then we'll your final
Just
pitch.
open invitation.
We only have a few viewers here left, but go ahead and give us that final pitch or not really final, but another pitch for your guys' snowball derby.
It's on you, Brandon.
Oh shit! I wasn't
God
prepared.
damn it!
Yeah.
And Blake leaves.
No, I'm
He
still here.
has to deal with a cat.
No,
I'm still here. My wife's about to walk through the door, so.
Oh.
Yeah, December 5th. I think we're narrowed down to 5 o'clock starting time Eastern. That'll be the 300 lap super late model race at 5 Flags. Right now we're up to, I want to say 20 entries. Hoping to get more, but we'll have another post here hopefully soon. It's coming up like 16 days, I think, until the race. We have a decent amount of money already sponsored in for grabs, like at least 100, 150, I think, for the winner. And then contingency wars, top 3 will be paid out. I think we're doing 1 fast repair, 3 sets of tires. There'll be a comp caution at 100, 200. Just so for that's about the tire range or fuel range. You don't be pitting under green or anything, going laps down. So hoping to minimize that. Should be a lot of fun. We'll have practice and then queue, and then if we don't get over 36 drivers, we'll just go straight to the main. Should be a lot of fun. We got mainly AOL drivers, 2 fuel drivers signed up right now. Some fast guys in there, so it should be a lot of fun. Super lates are always a blast to drive.
Alrighty. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight, both you and Blake, and then we got our also 2021 season in TNT, Josh Lasted. So we appreciate Josh you coming on tonight. I had to give him the official invite in his box because he deserves an official invite to be welcomed on to the Ghostfire Media as the 2021 TNT champion. So, but we love to be able to have people come on and recognize them for their success. We appreciate Alan Elwood to be able to come on tonight and congratulate him on his 2021 B championship. So we can't wait to have the next one and crown the 2021 Cup Series champion. Might be the guy right down that way with the
That's
Victor
hiding
Bravo.
because he doesn't want to show off his wife, but
so
I get it.
I mean,
it could be him.
I'd have to get her approval first to turn the camera on.
That's true. Consent is everything.
She is the reason I won the Sportsman Championship, though, because she.
Yeah.
Letting you run Martinsville
Wilkesboro.
or Wilkesboro. Yeah.
If I missed that race, it would have been a done deal. I would have been in too big of a points hole there.
Yeah, because also Justin with the broken finger. Yeah. I might have actually gotten second.
Yeah, I know.
What kind of sick and twisted world would that have been?
You could have dumped Bassini and got first.
That's true.
Oh, that actually may have happened in that
I mean,
situation.
I wouldn't even been able to fault you if you did that, honestly, because I'd probably do the same thing in your situation, just like I'd probably wreck you to win a championship.
I mean,
yeah.
And apparently 90% of the cautions we have are for a championship.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you wrecked me enough times to get your points lead, so
okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate everybody coming out. Come out Sunday night. We'll be doing the AOL Championship race in the Cup Series. We'll have the voices of Josh Laston and Carl Henderson calling all the action. It's going to be our last official race for these 3 series. We proudly announce right now that on Wednesday nights we'll be starting up with the Sim 500 League. We'll make a truly official announcement here in the next week or so. We're working hand in hand with them. So come out on Wednesday night starting on December 1st. We'll be having a fun time with them. They're Xfinity League. They just started off. So They run 5 different leagues a week, or 5 different series a week within that one league. It's a kind of a nuts and crazy league. So can't wait to see what they have to offer. So until the next time, I'm Adam. That's Brandon. That's Carl. That's Josh, and Blake is hiding down there. Have a good
See ya.
night.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.